Podcast Awards, UFO Undercover, in the category of entertainment. This show brings you some of the most revealing and current research that is being done with respect to alien abductions and contact. Host Joe Montaldo has been an abduction researcher for over 35 years and is uniquely qualified to bring you live interviews with some of the most well-known researchers in ufology. So go to podcastawards.com and nominate UFO Undercover in the category of entertainment. That's podcastawards.com. So take a moment, get out and vote.
Oh, did y'all hear that? I didn't mean y'all for me to hear that. I would get out and vote, people. Damn, y'all got me cursing and stuff.
Yeah,
get another
vote, rock the vote.
Yes, it's that time of year again. It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcast. So there's a show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. You've been hearing it for years now. It's the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast in 3 categories: education, storyteller drama, and art. So this show is based on the world-famous Writers of the Future contest created in 1983 by L. Ron Hubbard and provides advice and tips from contest judges, international best-selling authors, world-class artists, contest winners, and industry professionals for writers and illustrators wanting to take their next step. So go to podcastawards.com and nominate the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast in all 3 categories. That was education, storyteller drama, and art. And that's podcastawards.com. So take a moment and get your votes in. It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcast. The show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards is The Outer Realm. And that's in the category of Best Female Hosted Podcast. The Outer Realm is a popular show hosted by Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano, which has millions of listeners each week. They are well known for their laid-back, roundtable style of interviewing. Together, this dynamic duo brings you the best of the best with guests from around the world who are well-versed within their respective fields of ufology, paranormal, cryptozoology, folklore, and anything else that would be deemed outside the realm of normal. Michelle is an international public figure who has spent the last 2 decades working in the international paranormal community, in research and media. Amelia is a remote viewing medium with 10 years of working with missing children, as well as cold and active murder cases. So go to podcastawards.com to nominate The Outer Realm in the category of Best Female Hosted Podcast. That's podcastawards.com. It's super easy. So just please take a moment and get out and go vote.
Yes, go vote, people. Good evening and welcome to the Centralist, everybody.
Vote.
Yeah, rock the boat, baby. You got Michael and I tonight, so you know telling what's going to happen. Usually it's not good when we're left unfeathered, yeah, whatever. We were posted that was dumb shit. I gotta, yeah, I don't have it opened on StreamYard yet, but I'll click it in a minute so I can see the comments. So y'all can post it in. All the YouTube rooms are open, and we're on 5 Facebook pages, so feel free to comment any way you want to. Most of that will pop on there. Everybody who's on my messenger list knows how to get hold of me anyway, so it's not a big deal. Tonight we're going to talk a lot of stuff. Now, I know y'all know who Michael Angley is, and I know you know who I am, and sometimes we get a little off track because we like to do a little satire with our news. We can't help ourselves. We do a lot of just news.
Is there a track? I don't think we do tracks, man.
No, well, yeah, that's a good point, but. I mean, we just
kind of goes.
Somebody the other day said somebody wrote to me the other day.
Don't apologize. People know that's why they're.
Well, no. Somebody wrote to me the other day and said, "I love the." Yeah, well, that's what I said. Somebody wrote to me the other day and says, "Yeah, y'all don't really do opinions until later in the show." I said, "No, we talk about the news and how dumb some of the people who are doing the news." Wait, Mike, you froze like this, baby. What's going on? He's been held up, people. Somebody's holding him up in New York. Oh my God, I don't know what happened to him, but. Hopefully he'll be back in a second, but it's interesting the way the news works out for us because there's a lot of good stories, and we're going to be crossing a lot of good stuff tonight. Oh, there you. Well,
I see.
Oh, there you are. You're back. Yeah, we lost you for a minute.
Flowing video, man.
Dude, you were like this. No, I mean you were like.
I didn't lose you. You lost me.
I know it was weird as hell, dude. It was weird. Anyway, guys, if y'all seen that, no problem.
You lost
a lot
me.
of stories across tonight. Who's coming to get us in the world? I don't know. What's next in the world stage? I don't know. Every time I turn around, there's some new variant going on or some new other thing going on. Whoever wrote that? Well, I doubt we'll talk about COVID tonight because every time we do, we get banned off of YouTube. What's going on, man? Michael's working great. Also,
God forbid you talk about the version that's going around now that's going to basically well, we're in a surge, so it's pretty
Oh,
bad,
yeah. Well,
and they don't want to talk about it. Whatever,
no, they won't
whatever
talk
the
about it.
left, whatever they feel, they don't want to talk about COVID.
Have
They're
you?
they're
Well,
looking
you've been
another
down the
way, but
highway. Look, you would not know there was anything bad going on in our country in any shape, form, or fashion. I mean, it is insanely crazy. So just today, so I'm looking this afternoon. I was thinking about going to stay at one of the casinos over the weekend, catch up onto work, do a little gambling, do a little drinking, and so it's $500 a night plus the resort fee. So it's $1,000 plus the resort fee, which is $1,000. It's $2,000 for 2 days. I'm like, and I'm thinking, yeah, what am I getting with this? Y'all don't even want to know what I was thinking about because it's probably illegal, but still, I was like, what the? I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's a normal hotel room. I mean, they're nice rooms and all, but $2,000, $1,000 a night. There's no hotel unless you're some really high end place that's worth that much money. It's just not. I mean, great views, great things, but the thing of it is, you know how you know they're not because come January, you can get them for $69 and no resort fees. So you figure it out. Yeah, I don't know. It's bullshit. Is what it is.
are
Right
we
now, it's
selling something
crazy.
here? We got a coupon book for people, man.
I don't know, but right now, the entire
Writers of
Gulf
the
Coast.
future, you get some
Yeah,
hotel
Right as
reviews.
Future pays us money to talk about them, man. They say, no, I'm just kidding. Before anybody writes to me, I was teasing. They do not pay us money to talk about them. But we got a lot of stuff going on, man. There's a lot of good news out there. Well, not good news, but news out there. Hunter Biden wants
A
to.
lot of news, a lot of stuff. Remember back in the day, there was like we had to really look for news, like pick your stories, to be interesting. Now there's just so
Well,
much. I mean, not just now, but for a while now, there's so much to
well,
talk about. It's hard even to think
no,
about.
I
Damn,
agree. When Stephanie and I used to do news and flip side, we'd get together 3 or 4 times a week to go over news stories. We would literally go find like 100 stories, and most of them were just stories that were just backup because they were garbage stories. But we always included at least one good story. We ended the show on one good story every week. But it was a lot harder to find stuff, and now it's in the back. There was a lot. We were in wars and everything going on, and now it's like you just turn on a news page or get on television. It's just one endless load of crap after another. I mean, and a lot of it's just crap. It's just wasted space. I watch CNN try to avoid the topics, the important issues like inflation and, what's going on, where how much gas is, how the stock market's crashing, how many people's retirement's going down the drain, why our country's in a shithole, why everything is up through the roof. And they're trying to talk, but yet, and they don't want to talk about any of this. So they'll go find something stupid to talk about, maybe the bathroom, but yet they're still not talking about Roe versus Wade either. It's like
they gotta pace themselves, man, for the election, and the midterm is one, especially. But then, of course, in 2 years, I was watching Joe Biden, and again, when he was in Israel, he turned to shake someone's hand that wasn't there, and
he's
who was
ghost
reporting
shaking.
on it? The Sky News is like right on it, and they're
Yeah, I
they're
noticed
basically
that.
an affiliate of CNN, but yet they've kind of gone their own way, and to me, they're ultra liberal, but yet here they are like hammering away on Biden.
Well, I noticed this year Sky News has. I don't want to say they've taken a conservative approach, but they sure have moved way to the middle.
They've changed. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they've
good.
definitely changed. Well, because they see the president for what the president is. They got that one Indian lady on there. I see her I catch her every once in a while. She's tough and she's fair, but she's like, "You
People are
Americans are in
questioning.
deep trouble."
They're questioning his cognitive abilities.
Yes, because us
So
Americans are in deep trouble. I don't know how.
always, if we weren't in trouble with it, always,
Yeah, yeah.
man.
Well,
You
let me
know,
make sure the other side of the
we're
circle's open.
Americans. We've been causing trouble. We've been in trouble. Revolution and whatever, man. We're Americans. It's what we do. You know.
It is what we do. Come
Yeah,
on,
when
thing.
other
You
people
know me saying.
criticize us, they do it from a different perspective. Like people in the UK. I have friends in the UK and Australia hypercritical of the United States, and I let it go because I feel like a lot of it's jealousy, believe it or not. But I mean, be happy in your own skin. You got to look at other people and criticize them. It's time to fix up your own backyard. UK's got a lot of problems, man.
Mm.
Joe stepped down. No more Boris Johnson,
No
and
more.
he
Well,
was
yeah.
he was a real leader in
Boris,
my book.
Boris.
I mean, maybe he wasn't the
Well, wait. Has he officially stepped down yet? Or is he still playing games?
well.
Yeah.
They're replacing him.
Yeah. Well, I know they replaced him because he said he's retiring. But I didn't know because I know he said he wasn't going to go away until they had a replacement. Because they tried to tell him, "Oh no, just leave," and he's like, "Oh no, that's not going to work like that."
Yeah.
Because he still had all the power. I was confused because he worked really hard to win over that vote of no confidence and stay in power. And then 2 months later, he's like, "I'm going to step down," and he says it's over the media. That's what he said it
Hey,
was.
man,
I heard him twice say that. Now he said it's over the media.
they went after him like the same media went after Trump in this country, and it must be very hard to function and operate. You really have to just kind of shut it out. I think
Yeah, you do. You can't
when people
take it
come after you like
as
that.
serious. Yeah.
If you can, I think they can too. I think they can definitely shut it out.
I think, well, some of them can. I don't know if they all can. I know Biden can. I mean, he doesn't even get a third of the media, bad media that Trump did, and he gets fired up, pissed off,
You have
cussing
to not
people.
really care what they say, but if what they're saying is damaging and also accusatory in a fashion that you're committing crimes and whatever, and they're painting that in people's minds, that needs to stop because it's unwarranted. It shouldn't happen. But the Democrats use that as a tool. They use that to go against people now. So a lot of people lost faith for the Democratic Party. Their numbers are dwindling. They think they're
Well,
going in the wrong
yeah, and you
direction.
know what? That's a good segue into a hot button topic. So this is something that's been bothering me for a while. So we're just going to bust right out into it. Co- Controversial trans swimmer not nominated for NCAA Woman of the Year award. Okay, first off, this is a man competing with women, and now he's going to get the Woman of the Year award. Give me a fucking break, people. I mean, how fucking stupid are you people? Don't
Because
make
men are
me curse.
better
I
at
mean,
everything.
Jesus. I mean, I know women got to be
Obviously,
pissed because I mean, if I was a woman competing against, look at this guy. I mean, he's going to outswim women. I mean, there's just
put him
some
up. I
sports that
can't
men
see
are
him
going
there.
to out
Put him on the
are out
screen.
going
I want to see him. Now they're saying if you call a trans man a man, it's hate speech, and trans
No, it's not
woman a
hate
woman.
speech because sometimes they still identify a man even though they're dressed up like a woman, which is just look. Sometimes I just wonder what it is. Why? First off, why do we have to have all these labels? Why can't we just be people? Liberals have to label everything. It's like they can't live unless it's got a label on it. I often wonder if you go in their house if everything's got a label on it. Even their kid's ass has got a label on it. It just. Oh wait, what did I click the wrong one? Sorry, myself. Um, Oh, and then they're saying that Biden's embarrassed for going to the Middle East, which we'll talk about in a little while. But
These liberals back in the day, they were the weird people in the corner of the room spouting off crap, whatever. I mean, I knew a ton of them, uh, and nobody ever listened to them. You know what I mean? Because it was ridiculous stuff. It wasn't things that were in the here and now in the realm of reality, right? And now they have a voice. Now they have an in. They have and they're calling them progressives. They're not progressives. These are extremist liberals. They are not progressives, but now they've taken that word and destroyed it, for everybody. But it comes down to this: you can't let people who are extremists run the country, no matter who they are, no matter what side they are. We have to have a middle of the road understanding of just our basic needs and things that we have to use to go forward. Unfortunately, you have this political entity that just wants to. They're self-loathing, aren't they? Self-hating. This group. They want to suffer. They want people to suffer. They don't care how you suffer. They don't care how much you have to pay to get through every week. And foot the bill of the government at the same time. We're paying for them to do their business.
so
The,
look at the difference. I agree with you, Mike. By the way, look at the difference in the size of these two. That's first
okay.
place. That's second place.
He's
Really?
a man. He's a man. Of
Give
course, he's
me
gonna
a
beat him.
break. This is a guy, man. Look at the reach on. He's got way more powerful arms, way more powerful legs. He's gonna win almost every time. Well, as far as I know, it's like the guy who was wrestling. He won every time. Well, this guy's winning every time. Well, that's not fair.
He's a male. She's a
Olympics are
female.
saying the Olympics are saying, well, we're going to allow it. Well, if that's the case, it's oh my god. So the
And
only
when he was a male in swimming, he used to lose all the time.
yeah, that's the
So he
thing. That's the
decided
wrestler
to
guy
go.
too. He used to lose all the time, and then he went this way. I mean,
So he decided to go ahead and whatever.
but there he is again. There's Leah. What's his name? Leah Thompson. There you go. NCAA 500-meter freestyle swimming champion. Georgia Tech Atlanta. I'm thinking, really, it's not a girl. I mean, come on, guys. So now we're gonna have to lie. So what happens in the Olympics? So everybody's gonna have a trans on their swim team so they can compete, right? Because the women aren't gonna be able to win on the women's
Well,
team
no, they're
anymore.
banning them. So
Well, I heard the
you know,
Olympics was gonna keep it, and everybody else was banning it.
there's been a change of tides,
Hmm.
and it's women who are the ones who are upset because they don't.
Yeah,
You
'cause
got to
it's
do
not
away with
fair.
all their
Yeah, well,
female.
it's not fair to the women. I mean, come on. That's the biggest load of crap ever. It's just not a fair thing.
What if LeBron James, King James, there put on a skirt and played for the women's, NBA or whatever it is? Oh, you crush everybody. He crushes them now. You just there's no competition between the two groups. This is a stumbling block. It's something you're gonna have to have a whole trans group
Yeah.
of competitors instead of them competing with others and whatever. Man, it's getting complicated. You know.
Let's see. Daryl Morrison, do you think who's going to win over abortion rights? What do you got to clarify that question? It don't make any sense. Um,
Does anybody win?
well, I don't know. It depends what you're looking for. I mean, the Christians think they've won a big thing, so they think they won. The problem with this is when you hear people say, "I love when the media goes, 85% of America is for abortions." Well, that's not even close to true. That's just a fictitious poll. That's saying that's because what they do is people who are pro, like if you were raped or if there was something wrong with the baby, that's not the same as abortions because you didn't use birth control. It's a different thing. So yeah, 55% of America are pro that, but the rest of them aren't. So that's a big lie when you hear that when they're talking about it. Because if you ask Americans if they're pro killing babies because someone didn't use birth control, it's like 80% say no. So you just got to watch the polls. It's loose numbers that liberals like to use, but they're easy to find. They're easy to debunk. It's just a shame that we have to deal with all these lies all the time. And I love the liberals now. They're getting shameless. They'll go out and do 100-person poll like in a Boston Mall and say, "Oh, look, this tells you how it's going to be." They tried to do that for Joe Biden just a few weeks ago, and guess what? His numbers were still 35%. Polling in territory where he should have been just knocking it out. He was 35%. That's just sad, people. It just is. Last poll I seen was today. He's there. Biden sitting at 33%. 33%. That's the size of the Liberal Party. Well, now it's not. It's probably about 28%, but
Well, we
so
know
it's sitting
everybody
at
lost
30%.
faith
Yeah.
in him.
So I got
He went
liberal
to meet
friends
with the
now.
Saudis. The Saudis didn't want him in their face. But
No.
their beef is Iran and his thing helping Iran go nuclear. The Saudis are livid about that. So is
Well,
Iran.
yeah, but
So
see
is
now that he cut
Israel.
that deal with Israel to take Iran out, the Saudis are going to probably back off some because now he's made a deal with Israel. In case y'all didn't notice, ladies and gentlemen, we signed a treaty with Israel to guarantee that we would not let Iran have nuclear weapons, whether it's through diplomacy or through or using our military. We're guaranteeing we will not let them have it. So if it means we got to blow them up, we will. See, we don't even have to worry about it. Israel's got this. What is it? 5-line thing. Once they
They're all
pass it,
set.
Israel's just going to roll in there with planes and wipe it out. But we'll have to guard Israel after that. Mm-hmm.
Israel's set to go in there and take care of business.
Yeah, Israel has no qualms going in and blowing the living crap out of
This
Iran.
isn't what Biden wanted. It was actually the opposite because they coddled Iran, and you remember Obama years and what they did with Iran, how many billions they gave them, billions upon billions, even got the hostages back, giving them more money, paying for that. So, I mean, there's a line there, but obviously Israel and Saudi, they don't like each other, but they're working together to fight Iran, and nobody wants a nuclear Iran. We don't want them to have nuclear weapons. They are what they are, right?
Yeah, and we're not going to let them have it, and it's just we can't let.
You never know, man, because you got Russia, and Russia could easily sell warheads to Iran if they wanted to.
Yeah, but that's a point. They're going to blow them up. They're just going to anything that we find out that's there is going to get blown up. Not just us. I mean, anybody. There'll probably be 5 or 6 countries in this treaty, including
If you
Saudi.
can prove it, yeah, man.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. The U.S. has to prove it. Saudi and Iran won't care. I mean, Israel won't care. They're just going to blow the shit up. That's the difference between us.
Saddam said he had weapons of mass destruction, and they had a hard time proving anything. Then they finally went and bombed him anyway.
Well, somebody told me one time there was no massive weapons of mass destruction ever found in with him. Well, that was not really true. They found two big things of nerve gas and mustard gas, enough to wipe out several million people. That's a
Yeah, but
weapon of mass
he was
destruction.
talking crap, you know that.
But he was the weapon of mass destruction. He killed 4 million people. He was the weapon of mass destruction. He killed 4 million Iranians, actually. And he used
Oh
nerve
yeah,
gas,
in the
mustard
12 Years
gas.
War, that we were supplying Saddam with weapons. I mean, that was
I know we
Rumsfeld's
were.
job.
I know we were.
You know, they
But
had
I
a
mean,
12 year.
still,
So
you
it was
might.
Saddam who kept Iran under control. And then, also, I mean, so, he also fought the other Muslims in the area that were hostile to the West, So, I mean, but then he flipped. And you saw what happened. They found him in a rat hole.
Yeah,
They hung him.
he got greedy, is what happened. And actually, if he would have left Kuwait alone, we'd have left him do his stupid stuff.
That
We'd have
was
left
it.
him the
He
way it
went to
was.
Kuwait.
He
We
got greedy.
protected.
He wanted that money from Kuwait, and he got greedy. And the U.S. was like, "Excuse me, what the hell are you doing? No, you're not doing that." And that was the end of that. I mean, we weren't going to allow that. If y'all ever get a chance, there's a YouTube video of the first day of the air war. The first day, 2,700 Saudis. You ought to watch this. This is insane. And this went on for weeks. I mean, every day there was this many. This was insane. There is no country, China, Russia, there ain't nobody on the planet could take this. Nobody, not including us. If somebody could do it to us, we couldn't take it. It's just insane, the amount of weaponry and the different types of weaponry that was being used. It's an amazing war to watch. I mean, no one had a chance of that. If we would hit Russia with that within 3 days, we'd have air superiority over Russia. Same thing with China. They wouldn't even know what to do with it. I mean, they don't have that many planes to defend themselves from that kind of many Saudis. It was insane. And then that was just a very small tip. We had 4,000 aircraft over there. I think they said that was 5% of the coalition's actual air force. Well, Jesus. Yeah, it was bad, people. But it proves a lesson. You shouldn't go stirring up shit hornets when you don't have any, hornet spray. I'm just saying.
But Ukraine too, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, look at the Ukraine. That's right. So wait now, now somewhere Taiwan's getting involved in this war. I don't know what this means for the rest of us. But Taiwan's getting into this war. They told the Ukrainians they would actually come over there and bring weapons and fight. So I'm thinking now, technically, because China's always running around saying, well, Taiwan is part of us. It's part of us. So wait, now Russia's going to be going, wait a minute. One of your satellites is blowing a crap out of us. What are you going to do about it?
Made in Taiwan.
Joe Biden's guaranteed their safety.
Taiwan knows that this is time-sensitive stuff. And if they make that kind of move now and provoke, you know what? We're in a position where we have to protect them. Man.
We did. We ran our mouths and said we would protect you. We would not let China take you over. So
our Constitution, we adopted, that kind of thing. Whatever, man. You know what? All of life is what it is. Whatever happens. And China's in also a delicate position because they still need to stimulate their economy. They can't shut people out like Russia. Look what's going on with Russia. Russia and China only have each other at this point.
Yeah, at this point they really do. I mean, because Venezuela is not really a threat to anybody, and neither is Cuba or any other rest of them. So.
But I want to know this basketball player, Joe, in Russia. She's sitting there cooling her heels.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get LeBron James saying, bring her home. First, he said that she should think about not coming back to the U.S., like we failed her in some way. And then he's like, bring her home, bring her home. You know what? But she smuggled drugs into Russia.
Yeah.
Tell me the process. If you smuggle drugs into Russia and get caught with it, what happened?
Well, first, the process is they grab you, they put you in a gulag, they bring you in, they put you in a fake trial, they give you 10 years. That's smuggling drugs in Russia because you're stupid to struggle drugs in Russia. I mean, it's ignorant. Who the hell does that? And
she was the same one.
But you know what hurt her more than that? She's a lesbian. So Russia are like, what they did? Come on, they put the pink. I can't say their other name on air, but the pink, what's in jail just because of their name, and they were gay. They put them for 4 years.
Russians are very racist too, man.
They're homophobic and racist.
So I mean, she's got a lot of things against her there.
So
but also
you're a lesbian basketball player smuggling drugs into a country that doesn't tolerate either one.
She's the same one who didn't want to sing the national anthem.
That's what you call. When you hear people say white privilege, well, that's black privilege, or that's
she was in the Olympics. She didn't want to sing
maybe it's
the
Olympic
national
privilege,
anthem.
whatever you want to call it.
She led the protest against the national anthem. Now she's asking Joe Biden and Kamala.
So obviously, this girl thinks she's privileged, that she can go around and tell the Russians
privilege
what to do.
Is right. They're millionaires. They don't understand how people live. She grew up a privileged life. Whatever, man. But it's her doing. It's not like they did it. Like planted it on her or something, man.
Yeah.
She went in there with drugs. That's simple. Listen, in the United States, you can run around with marijuana in a lot of states, but there's other states you can't. If you go in one of those
you get caught when you go to jail. I mean, it just depends
what happens in South Carolina? You get caught with an ounce of weed.
You're going to jail. See, here in Mississippi, you get caught when you're going to jail. Now an ounce and under, it's gonna be a misdemeanor. It's gonna be like a $250 fine. They're gonna take your weed and pound your car, so you have to pay all that to get it out. But they're still gonna do it.
Kansas doesn't mess around.
And there, in the old days, and I say the old days, like 8 or 9 years ago, if you got caught with just 2 joints in Louisiana, you could get a year for each joint. So and you go to states like Colorado. But again, people, while we're on this subject, because this is going to play into something we're going to talk about a little later. So it doesn't matter where you are. You could be in California, Colorado. If you are on federal land, if you're like in a federal national park or federal park, and you get caught with marijuana, you're going to go to jail, and you're going to probably get jail time, because federal law, it's still a Schedule I drug, and it doesn't matter that it's legal in Colorado. It doesn't. You're on federal property, and that it supersedes the fact that you're in a state where it's legal. Several people now have gotten 3 or 4 or 5 years for having like an ounce of weed on them in a national park. State parks, it doesn't matter, but if they're federal parks and a federal ranger stops you, you're going to jail.
That's a hypocrisy. So smuggling hash oil into Russia is just a dumb ass thing. And she was going there to play for the Russian team. She was going there to make money playing whatever. So while her team was off. So whatever, man. I don't feel bad for her at all. I think they should keep her.
I couldn't. I mean, from what I've seen of her, she didn't look in horribly bad shape or anything, but it's hard to tell.
Well, they want
she did plead guilty. I mean, she pled guilty right out. But Russia's not going to give her back just because
they want to trade a terrorist for her. He's a very bad guy. He kills lots of people. And if he gets out, he's going to kill more people.
So he is obviously a person who thinks she's privileged and use her privilege to get herself in trouble.
If that was you,
because of that, they want to put a terrorist out to get her back.
What do they do for you?
See, that's the problem. Trading a terrorist for her just sounds stupid to me. I mean, I don't want to see.
You would try to give them some secret information about UFOs, man. You'd be like me. We could bluff our way out of something like that, but a lot of people can't. You know what I mean? A lot of people get stuck in that situation. They don't know what to say or do.
I'd have said this is. I'd have said, excuse me, but I need to talk to someone high in Russia. No, this is not hash oil. This is alien blood. Now look, you're going to get us all killed here if you
alien DNA.
That's right. And they'll be like, what was that? No, we're not talking about Dr. Fubu.
I'm a genomic scientist.
We're not talking about
buttfuck Idaho. You gotta let me in.
So I hear Elon's ranting and raving about the Twitter lawsuit. Now Elon's like, yeah, bite me, bite my left or my righty. He doesn't seem to really care.
Trump's calling him out as a BS artist.
He's
What do you think of that? Trump's calling him out as a BS artist, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I don't know, why would Trump even get? Elon's actually been helping Trump out. Why would you go do that?
Trump is jealous because Elon's getting some news.
Yeah,
He's a jealous guy. You saw Ivana; he just fell down the stairs and died. Oh my God!
House passes bill to codify road protection, interstate travel for abortions.
You don't want to talk about it.
I thought they were going to try to force it in each state. I see what they're doing. They're going to say it's okay that you can travel to another state. Who?
Ivana Trump.
Oh, yeah, well.
Usually when rich people fall down the stairs and die, there's an investigation.
Well, it wouldn't have been Trump. He was off somewhere else, I would imagine. It's
well, he's already gone. Looking for the maid, old ditwitch. You know what I mean?
Oh man! So on a side note, real quick. On a side note, so a couple of countries have been doing this. They've been closing their major highways because it's so hot that the car's tires are starting to melt. Arizona just closed part of their freeway. I know a couple of countries in Europe did it too. That's hot, man. When you rub on your tires start to melt, that's just not a good thing. Oh wait, the U.S. Russian we're still doing joint space missions with Russia. It happened in the UK, in Arizona, Brazil, and somewhere else. It was like 4 places. Not Brazil. I forgot the name of the place. Belize or somewhere. But anyway, to hide, it's so hot that if your car sits still on the highway for even just a couple of seconds, the rubber starts to melt on the tires. That's how hot it is. I mean, if you go measure right now, if you go outside on an average day in the summer and measure the temperature, it's going to be like 134, 144 on the concrete. That's not what the actual temperature is, but that's what the concrete is.
Right now,
Yeah,
it's 60 degrees outside.
Here it's
60
probably
going down to like
mid-70s.
52, man. The other night was 48.
Yeah, it's probably in the mid 80s.
Yeah, but
for
you
us
know
right
what?
now.
I'll take it, man. I'm happy not being sweltering heat.
Well, yeah, I bet you are, man. Yeah. So we got to go back and talk to my guy. You know, I'm taking a bigger liking to this guy every week, man. He's done screwed over the Democrats yet again. Munchin just seems to just give him the big fat bird, and so they were trying to get some crazy ass $2 trillion. What an infrastructure bill? It was a green bill. Oh yeah, it was just giving money away to their friends. And Munchin said, "No, we're not doing that. They're getting ready to go up. The Fed's going up on a rate. Why would we give out more free money?" And they asked him about some of these other bills coming up, like this abortion bill. He says he's not going to vote for it. There's just a lot of stuff, and he's popular where he is. You know, and he's a Democrat and he's popular where he is. So his constituents were happy with the stance he's taken. Don't spend any more money until we get our country under control again. It seems pretty straightforward to me.
It's all just talk. You know what I mean? Or nothing.
Yeah.
Talk. Talk is cheap. You know, who needs it, man?
Sarah Louise. Sarah Louise, where are you at? Oh yeah,
Where's she at? Where's she at?
She's in Paris, France.
How
is Paris at the moment?
Comment ça va?
I know it must be nice. Huh? I mean, you know, I'm just saying it's nice. I know we have listeners over there. It's kind of strange. Oh, so you know, okay. Let me go. So she's telling me, or she thinks what's going to happen. She's an American, by the way. She lives in France now, but they still have their family here. It's a job thing. It's what she's writing in the thing. I watch her text, but she's saying she believes that the Republicans, if they win the House and the Senate, even if they win the House, that they're going to plot revenge against the Democrats for January 6th. You know, I totally agree with that. By the way, I have no doubt that the Republicans will plot revenge against the Democrats. Yes, they will revenge it. They will clench their little tiny asses and get out there and revenge it up. Well, because there's lots of questions to answer. Even AOC, of all people, put a hard question to Nancy the other day. I was like, wow, what the hell? They're just questions that aren't answered, like, you know, who opened the doors? She wants to know who unlocked the doors because they're saying now that there were police officers that unlocked the doors and invited people in.
They put their hands down. They walk right past them. I watched it happen, man. You know, they didn't try to stop them or nothing. Not anybody.
So here you got Miss Progressive. You got Miss Progressive over there asking about that. She's trying to ensure her bid because she got a pretty good candidate running against her this time. So she's trying to ensure that she stays in the House, you know, because, you know, she likes her little power she has. But she did. She's like, look, guys, whoa, wait a minute now. Something's not right here. I think some of the Democrats now are starting to distance themselves from the panel because they know that it's completely one-sided, and they learn from the Trump thing. When anything's completely one-sided, it always turns out to be not what they thought it was, and it comes back to bite them in the ass. The Hillary thing's biting him hard. Trump's going to have if he does run, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Trump did say he's going to run in 2024. If he does, he has so many things he can beat people over the head with. Oh, I told her, didn't I tell Angela Merkel, don't get oil from the Russians? Look what's going to happen. They're going to hold you hostage. Boom. He said they want to invade the Ukraine. We have to not let them invade the Ukraine. Boom, there they go invading the Ukraine. He talked about the Middle East. And remember, he made strides in the Middle East for one guy in 4 years. He made more strides in the Middle East than the last 5 presidents. That's amazing, the shit he got done. He got the capital change. He made friends with Saudi. He got Saudi, Egypt, and Israel to be friends. I mean, shit, that alone was earth-shattering. But the Democratic media didn't want to talk about things.
They didn't want to talk about anything. They don't give him credit for anything. Yes. Man, nothing.
And then
he got the vaccination program off the ground.
Yeah, he did.
You know, I mean, if it wasn't for him, these guys are looking the other way on COVID-19. They don't want to talk about it for whatever reason, you know. But I mean, Trump got everything off the ground, and I don't know. You need leadership,
Well,
man.
last I heard,
He's legitimate
Biden's.
leadership.
Last I heard, Biden's deaths have now surpassed Trump's for who has more deaths from COVID.
Biden is it's an embarrassment. You know, he really needs to go, and he's just getting worse and worse. And what are they waiting for? For the guy to keel over in front of the camera, you know, and drop dead? I mean, is that really that he got cackling Kamala? You got like ha ha ha.
He's losing. We're gonna have to take that toy away from him. I can already tell.
And she keeps saying the same word. It's crazy, 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 crazy.
You know,
cackling Kamala, come on, man.
oh no, they did investigate Ivana Trump's death, and they said it was ruled accidental.
Oh,
Yeah, they definitely investigated. Biden scraps plans to nominate conservative anti-abortion lawyer to federal judge. Well, that's dumb on
the
your part.
NYPD doesn't want to investigate it anyway. Man. I think they're done. They cashed in. They're tired of arresting criminals that come back on the street and kill them. You know what I mean?
Damn, Trump's ex-advisor told he not taking a plea deal. I said, screw y'all. This is going to be one of these things that we found out. See how many people went to jail when Trump was investigating the Russia? Remember? All of that stuff, they went to jail over the Russian investigation. Now, every one of these get to sue for wrongful suit because the evidence that started this, that got them put in jail, was not actually real.
So who's Trump going to choose as his VP this time around?
I'm hoping DeSantis.
Got some kick.
I'm hoping it's DeSantis.
I don't like him, man. There's other people that are better. He needs to choose a female who's got some kind of following.
DeSantis right now, the only person that's polling better than Trump right now, there's equal with Trump is DeSantis. He's way up there. He could win on his own. If he could win the primary, he'd be president. He could win the presidency.
I don't think he's got the juice to do it, man. I just don't see it.
I don't know. He's got an 86% approval rate. That's hard to beat, man. People like him around the country. He's
people in Florida. Let's
no. They polled him in the U.S. Across the United States. He's polling like 66%.
I want to see that poll.
So he's doing good, and well, he's liked for a lot of reasons. You know, he took a tough stance with Disney.
You like him because you're from the South. You know, us people
it has nothing
North,
to do with that.
We don't trust you guys.
Yeah, well, you know, that's because y'all
the
dummies.
whole war thing, you know.
The best presidents in the world came from the South, man. Or from the
heartland.
heartland.
We don't even trust the shrimp that comes from it.
You know, we
we
got all the good food. Y'all just jealous because we got all the good food.
Stuff and send the crap up.
Y'all get, that's right. We keep all the
keep
crap.
The big shrimp
stuff ourselves.
That's
right.
What goes on.
We send you them mid-sized shrimp, charge you $20 a pound for the damn things. Actually, I'm really kind of waiting to see how this January 6th going to come out. Trump's got so many lawsuits. It said by the time it's said done, he'll probably be dead. His family's going to see billions from all these Russian lawsuits. Now he filed suit against a district attorney in New York and says that it's a personal grudge because, you know, there was no reason for her to look into what she looked into. So they're all over her.
Well, you know, you got to Hunter Biden. You got a guy. You got the president's son who stays in the White House. Who was there for the 4th of July watching fireworks. You got him with the Russian hookers. You got him bringing hookers miles away. You know, states over state lines. They're looking at prosecuting him for sex trafficking. You know, complaining about the ounces of cocaine it was off and the crack he bought, whatever. He's something you don't want in the White House. And you know, even Prince Andrew, which I probably wasn't as bad, you know, in that realm. The Queen put distance between the two of them. You know, she stripped him of his title and whatever. And we know the Bidens are in on business together. You know, we know what's going on. They're stealing out in the open. It's licensed to steal. And then, you know, Joe Biden, he's barely there. Come on, man. You see him.
You got to love this, Mike. So I just typed in Hunter Biden on CNN. You know what came up? House Republican plot to investigate revenge. January 6th committee. Russian-Ukraine news. I mean, it does. Here it is. 9th story down. Hunter Biden's ex-wife, Kathleen Bush, says she had no knowledge of ex-husband's financial dealings. She said, I'm getting out of this before I end up in jail.
I see nothing. I hear nothing. I only spent the money. I don't know where it came from. That's kind of
she wrote her memoir. Oh, my God. I wonder what's in that. Oh, man.
The Hunter years. But he's an artist, Joe. He's a
Yeah,
he's an artist.
he's a something, all right. But you see, that's what I'm saying though. So I'm on CNN site, and that's what I typed, and that's what I got. Now there's so much information about this guy that it's ridiculous. But they're protecting him any way they can. Let me see if we'll go type it in on Fox and see what
Don't you
comes
wish you
up.
had someone who had your back like that, man? Isn't that nice?
I mean, it is.
I
I
got
mean,
no, if I do something wrong, look right out there in the open, man. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna protect me. All the hookers and all that stuff. Come on, that guy's life is he's a mess. He's a head to toe mess. And it's just not something we need around the White House. That's all I'm saying. He can go be a mess on his own, man. Like go over there and be a mess. Uh,
now you see,
but
you go on Fox and type in Hunter Biden, man, just one story after another. How Joe and Hunter helped out the Chinese. They're going on and on and on. And you notice none of these get challenged, and you got to wonder why. Because I guess if they get challenged, and they have to prove that they're false, and a lot of them are going to not turn out to be false. This crazy Judge Janine, that little whippersnapper,
the
man,
dude
she's a troublemaker.
records his own crimes with his phone, and it got hacked, and they put it out there. He's got the laptop and whatever. He's nuts, man. He's messed up. But yet, that's the president's son. That's what we've got out there.
Yeah, I know. Look at Elon. Elon's fighting with MSNBC. On Twitter, no less.
I don't think he's fighting. I think he's just having fun. That dude.
Well, he is. He's just having fun. Well, no, somebody attacked him. And he just clapped back on him real quick. He was just like, "No, we're not going to tolerate that." But yeah, I mean, like I said, Fox got story after story after story.
I like Elon Musk. I feel like he's very lighthearted.
He's an interesting guy. What, he's got 10 kids.
See the story of his father. He's 76. He just fathered a child with his stepdaughter, Elon's sister.
Well, now on a side note, so you heard what Hunter Biden called Jill Biden, right?
Oh yeah, the C word.
He called it a stupid effing.
Now, did he call her the C word? Or he said, "Don't act like a C word"?
No,
like,
he actually has 2 or 3 different things, but the first one is "Don't be a stupid C word," and the other one was something along those lines. No, he was just being nasty. He was being really nasty.
He was going through some hell and whatever, and I'm sorry and all that other stuff. That's the guy's MO, right? I mean, he wears his drug addiction. That's his crutch. Oh, I wasn't in the right head. Oh, he's a terrible person.
And that's another thing. So, look at Hunter Biden's laptop. Got released just before the election, but every news media but Fox and a couple of the other conservative ones, nobody else talked about it. They buried that story so far back. The New York Times buried it back. Now, the New York Times is talking about it now, but they buried it way back. No, because if it came out full force across everyone, Biden would have lost. So they hid
Biden
that.
ran from his basement. I mean, he's not going to be able to do it this time around. Unless they can say, "Oh, there's something going on." He's not going to make it. 2 years? Come on, he's shaking people's hands that don't even exist. You know what I mean? Like invisible people, man. He's done.
So Hunter Biden still owns a stake in a Chinese government firm. Still, and his father's going in 2 years into his presidency now.
Well, his father's the big guy, right? You got to give the money up to the big guy. They structure it like the mafia. You got to pay tribute to the big guy. The big guy paid for Hunter's hookers.
He probably pays for everybody's hookers.
What a nice dad.
And including the.
But Joe Biden is a scum. You know what, man? He's the guy sniffing children, feeling them up, doing all that other stuff. Apples don't fall far from the tree. I think the whole Biden family's sick family, and always did, always will. And when they put him to be president, I was like, oh my God. Really? They lied, cheated, and stolen whatever they could to get him in there. And now we're stuck with him. He's destroying our country. Not just him, his cabal. The people who back him. They're destroying our country because of their crap policies. They don't even understand how to run anything. Most of them have never had a business or understood how to run a business. You're a businessman. You understand dollars and cents and paying your bills.
It's So here I am on CBS now, and I typed in Hunter Biden, and I got like 4 stories that came up. So that's better than CNN anyway. NBC's got a few, but her husband, I guess it's his ex-wife's talking about him now. saying things that are starting to make people worry. I don't know what that means because they're not actually giving you anything else in it.
Well, he slept with his brother who died. He slept with
So now
his widow.
I'm reading this. So the Republicans already have plans on investigating Hunter Biden, investigating the committee of January 6th. They got investigating on something that Nancy Pelosi did and Chuck Schumer did. And then they're investigating all the Democrats who ran around saying that Hillary's thing was the truth and they could prove it. They're going after all of them.
Oh boy.
All that'll do is get them unelected. A lot of those people just won't get reelected, is all that'll happen there. Nobody's going to go to jail, though. Whoever sent me that everybody's going to jail. No, nobody's going to jail. None of them people are. Schumer and them going.
Hardly ever, you know.
Yeah. I mean, every now and then somebody will go, and you might, because sometimes there has to be a scapegoat, so there could be somebody, but I doubt it.
Epstein, who had all that evidence against people.
DeSantis education message winning in battleground states, easy polls finds him far ahead of anyone else. That's NBC News is saying that about him. The guy is just well liked. You may remember Jeb Bush was well liked doing the thing, but he just didn't have. This guy's actually quite a bit more well liked than Jeb Bush is. They just like him.
Come on, Trump's got
you know what it is. With the exception of whiny liberals, most people in the country like a strong leader, and he's a strong leader.
Trump was in there. They know what they're going to get out of him, right? I mean, people know what he's all about. It's not like you're voting someone in who you don't know. You know he's going to go in there and fix all this stuff, right? But the Democrats, first of all, they're not talking about running Joe. So I'm not going to bypass him. Get rid of Joe and bypass Kamala because, she's going to be like, well, what about me? I'm vice president. You're going to have to run me. And they know she has no winnability against Donald Trump. She'll be crushed. You know what I mean? She can't even put sentences together. It seems like I don't know what's going on with her, but it is. You know what I mean? But and who else, Democrat wise, that Gary Newsom in California, governor of California, talking about it. He was at the White House today, walking around. Joe Biden's not even there. He's out there walking around, out bold, putting his chest out, like, yeah, I'm going to be here. Gary Newsom. People in America
that half the state tried to recall him. He's not going anywhere.
They will never vote a California governor like that. Not that guy.
But reading this NBC poll shows me that the Democrats are in more trouble even I thought they were in. They were talking about major red flags for the Democrats and the teachers union. They said one of the reasons that this guy is so well liked is he's taken up for critical race theory, not for the race theory itself. He's taking up for the people who are anti-critical race theory. He's actually going to schools, redoing things. He's changed this transgender thing where you can teach kids about sex at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. He's going to make it, I think, 3rd or 4th grade above. The rest of the country is jumping on, with the exception of the liberal states. The rest of the country is jumping on this. He's got 36 states now that are jumping on.
Newsom had the nerve to say that the Republicans are banning books and speech and all this other stuff. He didn't say what. Like the books were those ones that teach children how to masturbate and have oral sex and whatever in 2nd grade, 3rd grade. That's disgusting. It's illegal.
But on a stage, he'll get eaten alive. And
let me tell you, if some stranger came up to your kid who's 9 or 10 years old and, hey, let me tell you how to masturbate and this is what you do, that person would be arrested. They would be arrested, and that's what needs to happen with any of these so-called teachers. They're not teachers. You know what? They hide behind that word. These people are sick. One of these women owned a sex shop, in Washington, and she's pushing this stuff on children in these schools, because she works in the school. So yeah, she works in the school and she owns a sex shop. You know what? It's got to stop. It's got to stop.
It's starting to stop in a lot of places now. Yeah, well, most of the states now are kicking back against all of this stuff. Even New York got in trouble for it. So it's as far as Newsom goes, he just won. His state's in disarray. 2, he barely won the recall back. 3, people leaving New York 3 million at a year, and he's not gonna be able to justify any of that. His economy sucks. Trump's economy. See, the number one thing for Trump is, and whether you like him or not, he gets to tout a long line of successes when he comes in. He gets to tout a long line of "I told you so." Yeah. All the stuff about Russia is false. He told everybody. He told NATO. He told everybody what was going to happen in Europe and what Russia was up to. Nobody would listen.
All he has to say is, "Hey, I told you so." And look at these numbers. Look what's going on. This This is
And
what
then,
they want.
and it's even better than that. Then he gets to look at the blacks and Hispanics and said, "Look, you were at the lowest unemployment rates in the history of our nation. Now you're almost double where you were when I was in office." And the Hispanics are liking him. They're voting for him. They're
Hispanics
coming
are
out and voting.
joining the Republican Party
Yes,
in
they
big
are in
numbers.
big numbers
You
too.
know,
Yeah,
well,
but it's not
because
just them. You got a lot
they
of
got the
whites. You got
same
a lot of blacks
values,
joining.
dude. They got the same values, man. You know what I mean? Hispanic families have many are Catholic. They're family people, hard workers. You know what I mean? And that's Republican right there.
No,
So
sorry, Chris. I'm not a Republican, dude. I'm a centralist. Hence the name of the show, my
you're
friend.
a secret Republican.
I don't.
Private.
See, I grew up as a
You're like,
Republican. That's what my
Mike,
family was.
I'm a
My mom
secret
was a Republican until
Republican.
she died.
Don't tell
But
anybody.
and my dad was, but I wasn't. And then I was after being a Republican for about 15 years. I was a Democrat, but neither party understood it. They're just always about their power and nothing about us. So I said it was time to
My
move.
mom was a Democrat and then also voted Republican. She kind of just voted the way she wanted to
Yeah, that's
go.
the way you should
You
vote.
know, that's the way I vote. But
Yeah.
Democrats they've come a long way to alienate people and and prove they shouldn't be in power. I mean, is that what we've learned? That's what we've learned from all of this, right? They shouldn't be in power. You
Yeah, a
know,
lot of them definitely shouldn't be in power. I mean, it's
look what
damn
they've done,
scary, some
man.
of them.
Come on, look at New York City, look at Chicago, look at places like that, look at LA. These are all Democratic mayors running those places, and they're hellholes. You don't want to go there. There's tons of crime. People suffer there. You know what they say? It's the Republicans' fault. Republicans' fault. I don't even know how they can say that.
And that's the thing. Nobody believes that because they know it's a Democrat controlled city. And you can say it all day long, but now the voters are changing. They're like, no, we're not buying it anymore. We're not buying
I
the
don't know,
BS.
man. We got a lot of millennials. They got shit for brains. I don't know what's going to happen with that. So
Democrats vent their fury as Joe mentioned Shell's auction action on climate change. He put his foot in your ass, didn't he? I bet you it felt good, you Democrats. Yeah, you know it did. You know you liked it. Don't try to lie. It's he did though. He's tired of them. He's like, look, you're a bankrupt in our country and just doing generally stupid crap. I like the guy because he's not scared. It's been a long time on either party where I have seen someone stand up and say, "Hey, look, no, you're not doing right. You're screwed up here." It's been a long time, and it's nice to see. In the old days, I mean, under Reagan and Clinton, there was bipartisanship. Since then, there's been none. It's just one side or the other side. Whoever's
yeah,
got
man.
control.
Nobody's getting together on anything anymore.
No, they're not.
It's Democrats' fault. They've really become a party of power and control and lie to people to get what you want. Come on, Adam Schiff. If they were serious at all, they would get rid of people like that. And there's so many poisonous liars, just these savage establishment losers that are in there that they don't have a like, okay, this is the Constitution. We're gonna have people's rights or whatever. They see the Constitution as something in their way of their complete and total power.
Somebody sent me something with them that moron. What's his name? Morning Joe. That dude is such a twit.
Yeah, he's a twit. Yeah, he's on there making millions of bucks, isn't he? He's a twit, and he's on there
Actually,
looking
from what I
morning.
hear, his show's in pretty big trouble. Actually, pretty much all of NBC shows, just like CNN shows, are in trouble.
I can't
Fox
watch.
is good and solid, but the rest of them, because you know what's happened is a lot of the country has moved right or center.
Mm.
So all of this hard left stuff is just unpalatable anymore.
ABC, NBC, CBS. I can't watch them.
Actual Donald, that is true. AOC may run for president this term.
Is that Donald Trump?
She'll just make the right
the
age.
Donald?
Yes, AOC for president. Michael will like it. Won't you like AOC?
I love
for president?
AOC, man. She
Michael
does that
will
little
like it.
dance. You ever see that dance she does on that the YouTube? She does that dance. They tried to do the what is it? That Breakfast Club. You remember that movie? And then so when they all get high and do the dance, so she's like dancing, whatever. That's the only thing I like about her. She's a bartender too, right?
Yes.
Probably
I
makes a
wonder.
good
I
drink.
wonder if she was actually a good bartender.
Probably not.
Jackson, no. What we do is we've been going through all the different news feeds. Right now, I've got several of them open, and we just go through them. I had to get the Hunter Biden crap off of it because it's just depressing. How CNN, especially CNN, wants to cover up for him. Oh, here we
If
go.
that was one of Trump's
77 minutes.
kids, if that was one of Trump's sons, that's all they would be talking about. The
Oh, that's all
hookers,
right.
the Russian hookers, abusing women and drugs. Oh, like they would go on. They that 24 hours a day they'd be hammering away.
So
So
now,
that's how you can't trust them.
if you want to be pissed off people, that's something that really is you should be pissed about. There's 77 minutes of the unveiled the Robb Elementary School. Do you remember the shooting where the cops just sat in the hallways for 77 minutes and
Well, they
listened
ran. Did you see the
to
video when they
kids?
ran for
Yeah,
their lives?
they
The
listened to
guy was
kids
walking
getting
through the
shot.
hallway.
Now, I hate to say this. The first thing I'd have done is I'd have grabbed Martha. I'd have been down the hallway looking to see who it was. I'd have shot the little shit in the head first chance I got.
Go grab Martha right now and do it. Fire a shot right in the air, Joe. I dare you.
Yeah, well, now I don't put a hole in my roof, but still,
You
it's
got insurance.
it's not for shooting a hole through the roof. They'll be like, oh, what happened to Miss Montel? No, I don't think we're
Like
gonna pay for that.
woohoo!
I'd have to bring when the roof is down, but it's just a shame. That is no way that should have happened. This is what these guys do for a living. And it makes me think that it was all. I mean, there was a lot of cops here, and it wasn't just local PD. There was feds and all there. Were they all that cowardly? I
Yep.
mean, they're wearing armor-piercing vests and shit. I mean, they're wearing a bulletproof vest. I'm thinking, you were really that cowardly? I'm telling you, I wouldn't even have a vest on. I would have already been down the hallway, especially if it was at one of my kids' schools. I'd have been in there with the gun saying somebody's going to fucking die.
They all
You
took an oath of office to
protect and serve. Yeah.
So they're all in dereliction of duty. They should be charged for such, and that's also for the lack of engagement. And people died because of their decision, their fear. Well, it doesn't really matter. It matters that it happened. And that community is not safe with those police officers. You may as well have none at all. If it's going to be like that. So whatever, man. That's just more of the same on what's going on.
So to answer a couple of questions I had seen earlier, predictions about the 2022 elections. Well, so as far as the House goes, I'm expecting the Republicans to win 35 or 45 seats. So they'll be like 255 or something along those lines. They'll have a pretty good majority, probably close to a supermajority. They could get really close to 2/3, and they might be able to sway enough Democrats to impeach like the president or Nancy Pelosi or somebody. But the Senate is different. There are only 5 states with senators up for vote. I think it's 10 seats altogether or something, and they're going to be tough. The Democrats may hold on to the Senate. More than likely, they're going to lose it by a vote, a chair or two. They'll probably lose. Georgia will probably flip because it's a purple state. But right now, they're really mad at Biden. Everybody's really mad at Biden. So you may even see deep blue Maryland flip. I mean, we're going to see
who
stuff.
Are they going to use? If they have to run somebody and it's not Biden, first they have to get rid of him.
Biden's not going anywhere, though. He said that he's running in 2024. Unless he's dead, I don't think you're going to be able to keep him from running.
That's what he said.
I don't know how you're going to do that, but he's saying that he's going to run.
And Kamala said, ha, 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 that she's going to
look
run.
At this. Special counsel Durham requests 30 subpoenas issued in the case for Trump and him. He wants to see him. He's thinking. I think he's going to go after the people who issued the FISA warrants. Now that we know that the Hillary thing is, I think he's going to go after FISA people.
What the CIA and the FBI both said that it was Russian propaganda, that there was no Hunter laptop, that the dossier, Steele dossier was 100% true. FBI, we looked at the Steele dossier, we judged it to be real and whatever. Hey, man, that's a huge catastrophic intelligence failure in our country. And if it's not a failure, they did it on purpose. It was a political move, which has to be examined. And those people need to be charged accordingly, but they won't.
They probably won't be.
No,
media
they definitely won't.
Media split right down the middle on what they're saying about Trump on Jan
Where's
6th.
Comey? Remember Comey? Comey was going to go to jail. Comey's
Nah,
going
Comey was never
to
going to jail. You and I
Hillary's going to
talked
go to
about Comey.
jail.
Comey was never going to go to jail. Comey, though, he would have went to jail if he kept running his mouth. But Comey got smart. You notice he just disappeared. He just went away. He just shut up. Somebody probably told him, look, dude, you did break the law. So if they do come after you, you're going to go to jail. So he just did the smart thing and got out of everybody's face. And that was a smart thing. And that's what a lot of the Democrats do. And even Republicans, they just disappear. So there's no reason to come after them. But, if you keep running your mouth, they're going to come after you. Everybody's bitching because Biden fist bumped the prince. Really? It's COVID time, people. What the hell?
Well, he shook everybody else's hand.
Did he now?
Yeah, the only one he touched knuckles
the
with
prince
was
stank.
the prince.
I see what's going on.
I don't think the prince wanted to even shake Biden's hand. I think they don't like him. They're angry. They know he's not going to be that long.
So
wait.
Why
bother dealing with him?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this right here tells you how ignorant the Democrats actually are. House Democratic Caucus leaders claims climate change is the largest national security threat facing the U.S. and the world. That is bullshit. Russia and China is the largest threat facing the U.S. And come on, people. You cannot be that ignorant. It's not that global climate change isn't going on, but remember this. Regardless where you are on the climate change thing, climate change is a natural process of this planet. Remember, just 10,000 years ago, the entire planet was almost, 2/3 of the planet was froze over. 300,000 years before that, 3 million years before that, there was no ice on the planet.
13,000 years ago was the end of the ice age, and that's when the Great Salt Lake formed. That was 10,000 years ago.
You can't go around thinking. And then this is my favorite one, and I love to get into NOAA, because I have a press pass for a couple of different groups. But so there'll be no one. They'll take questions. So I always ask the same thing. I said, this is how I feel, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know how many of your audience feel this way. I said, but for you professors, I said, when you can predict the weather just 3 days accurately and say it's going to rain here, there, and there, and here without being off, I'll consider it. I said, when you can predict the weather just 15 days out accurately, I will agree to think that maybe you can predict the weather 100 years from now. Maybe. But right now, you cannot even predict it. Look, Zeta was off the coast of Louisiana 2 days out, and they couldn't tell you where it was going to go. Again, 2 days out, they couldn't tell you. They tell us down here all the time, well, it's going to rain somewhere. Yeah, well, I could tell you that. Oh, it's a 50% chance that somewhere in a viewing area it's going to rain. Well, anybody can tell you that. It's the South. It's middle of summer. It's always a 50% chance it's going to rain. I mean, it's just, it aggravates me that
PTSD, man. You got some hurricane.
Well, it aggravates me that they don't use real data. They just tell us, oh, well, this is how it is. Well, again,
computer data.
But that's again, if
it's
the
a computer estimate off of models, and it doesn't really work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so if the computer can predict 100 years out, it should be able to predict 10 days out. That's all I'm asking for.
Well, I mean, there are climate changes. There are shifts in climates, and we're seeing what's going on in the United States and around the world. And the flooding. There's going to be a lot of flooding, like in Australia, and those parts down there. They're going to have a lot of issues, but it's an ebb and flow. What are you going to do, man? It needs to be. You can't. Mankind is not going to be able to put a Band-Aid on it, And now they got locusts in the Midwest eating everything. They're saying within the next 10 years, they're not going to be able to grow corn in the Midwest, man. So do I believe these things? It depends on the trends. Right now the Colorado River is going empty, and Lake Mead, there's a problem with Lake Mead and Lake Powell. But you know what? That could change in a few years. That could change 5, 6. In 1980, it was full.
Well,
now
they talk about it, but we know there's been warmer times on the planet than there is now. We know there's been colder
back in 1911, 1912. But believe it or not, just after the pandemic, you had this big dry spell where animals died in the Midwest, and it was a terrible events that happened. So and then everything kind of continued on that. A depression. We went into a Great Depression.
Christopher, I believe climate change is ongoing and will always be ongoing. And yes, man can definitely contribute to it. But
World War I, the virus, the climate change. These all things happened in a row, and history repeats itself. So here we are. Right?
Well, remember they had a mini ice age in Europe for like 400 years. There's weird things that happen, sort of thing, and it's not that man can't contribute to it. Nobody argues the fact that we can contribute to it through carbon. But the things that bother me is when I hear stuff like, we're going to kill the planet. No, we're not going to kill the planet. We might possibly kill ourselves.
Yeah,
We're not going to kill the planet. And let me explain this to you people. If you go back 60 million years ago, the carbon level on this planet was about 400 times what it is today. There was no ice on the planet. The planet was much warmer. The oxygen content was much higher. And the planet was lush. There were plants, animals everywhere. So, again, we're not going to kill the planet. The planet will just revert to something else and create a new life form. We may just kill ourselves out. And that's what always aggravates me about people. We got to save the planet. No, we got to save ourselves. You want to keep the planet exactly the way it is right now. So, here's a little piece of history for everybody. So in the entire time that this planet's had life, which is about 1.4 billion years, 1.2, whatever, this is the only time, this last 10,000 years, is the only time it's ever, the environment around us has been this calm. It was like a little window that man could really take hold and really prosper in. It's the first time. You don't have to believe me. You can check it for yourselves. So why do you think that it might not change back to what it was? This is what bothers me again about climate change. Educate your people on how the planet works, how many other climate events have happened on our planet. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. I'm not going to say there's not going to be climate change. And I'm not saying that we're not part of the cause. I'm just saying get the facts. Don't always take the Jane Doe explanation because a lot of times it's BS. I mean, Noah got in trouble because they were taking reports, temperature reports of the water right next to the exhaust vents on their side props. I mean, come on. I mean, that was just ignorant. Then they found out. Remember when everybody said, "Oh, global change went into a hiatus." Do y'all remember this? Because the models were showing it was in a hiatus because there had been no significant temperature change across the planet in 22 years. So they were like, "Oh, it's in a hiatus," and then they tried to say it was something else. Then they changed the entire scheme of the whole thing. That's the problem. When you have to lie and keep changing things to make it fit to what you want to say, then it's not real science.
There you go.
So, I mean, keep educated on it. You should always pay attention to the environment, especially when you live places and remember this, people. I live on the Gulf Coast, so I'm very keen to know what the environment is. Certain types of weather make it much more dangerous to live down here than in the rest of the country. Yeah, I mean, because when we get too hot, and we're in a hot summer, like we were in Katrina, which means we could see a major Cat 5 storm, 250-mile-an-hour winds, surges up to 50 feet, 60 feet. It can be really dangerous. And where I live, it would actually engulf my entire house in a matter of minutes. Yeah, so don't think I'm BSing you. I just want you to educate yourself on how the planet has been changing normally, and also educate yourself on planet warming and outside of our own planet in our own solar system. Find out if there have been reports of planets warming in our own solar system, because there has been. Right now, Earth is passing through a large group of red dwarf stars that were deposited here by the Sagittarius galaxy. Yes, people, I know my science. Yeah, I know, impressive, huh? But check it out for yourselves. So I'm just saying, educate yourself on all matters of things that can be. If you've ever heard like Mike and I talk about, which we're not going to talk about tonight, but when you hear it get into in depth on COVID, we really get into it so you can check all of it. That way you can educate yourself properly on what you should or should not be doing.
They don't like us talking about COVID.
No, and when we're using their own data, that's the sad part. They get upset with us.
I'm a vaccine ambassador, for God's sakes, man.
I know. Okay, who sent me
from Johns Hopkins a vaccine, and then they have nerve to say that we don't know what we're talking about?
Okay,
Really?
who sent me this Sean Handy link? People, come on. Okay, I'll read it. The country should seriously be considering the 25th Amendment on Hannity. Yeah, we know who.
I can't stand that dude. Really, yeah.
He looks weird on television. No, I'm not a big fan. I don't watch Hannity. I don't really listen to him.
The evil.
Well, I don't have anything against him personally. I don't know. Something about the guy just rubs me the wrong way.
He was a reverend and raised a lot of money in that way. He was one of those wannabe television evangelist types, And then he's got this book on how to decode the Bible, and you'll become rich if you buy.
Oh no, that's not Sean Hannity. That's Glenn Beck.
No, that's Sean Hannity.
Sean Hannity was a contract in most. He
doesn't sell it. That's Dr. Phil. He doesn't. Sean Hannity doesn't sell it online. He's you know what? He sells it on his radio show. If you listen,
I've never heard him say anything about that before, but I know.
Oh yeah, they hawked that book on his not his TV show, never. Only the radio show, which is interesting.
But I know he's a general contractor for a long time. That's what his profession was before he became a radio host.
He's a reverend. He was reverend.
No, he was a general contractor. He was
Look
a
it up.
painter.
Look it
No,
up.
I've heard him say it many times on his
And maybe he wasn't one
show.
time, but he was a
He
reverend in this
talks about it
movie.
in great detail.
Maybe he
He
wasn't
was
one time,
telling
but
his
he's a
kid
reverend.
he was telling his kid the other day he was going to give him a paintbrush and a bucket and show him how to make a living. I was laughing my ass off. I was thinking, oh man, but I can't listen. My problem with him is I can listen to about 15 or 20 minutes and then I got to go on. I can't take any more than that. But it's what anybody else. I can't anybody else either. And who Rachel Maddow? I don't think she's on anymore. Is she still on? I know she was leaving NBC. That was the last I had heard.
Well, they were making her leave. I know they were putting her on Monday nights only because nobody wants to hear from her anymore. Trump is gone. The only people like cared about Rachel Maddow were the people who hated Trump and they wanted to hear her talking about crap.
No,
His
but she.
taxes. He's going to go to prison. We got
But
all
that was
these
all NBC stuff.
crimes.
You remember? I interviewed her, dude. That was all NBC was making her do that.
Adam
She had said
Schiff. You got
she had
Adam Schiff on
3 years
all the
ago
time.
that she
Come
was
on, man.
looking for something else. And then last year, the year before last, she had said it again. She was looking for something else. Her show, because
There is nothing else for her. What else?
her show was, she made the top 10 several times, whereas nobody else on NBC was even getting
Not
it.
lately.
Fox pretty much owned all
Not
of them.
since Trump went. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear from her anymore.
But then when she was actually getting ready to walk out the door to NBC came in and offered her more money to stay for a while longer. But
on
then
Mondays.
I don't know how long that was for.
On Mondays, they
But
give her
do you
Monday.
know how much money? They offer her more money than she already makes. I mean, a woman makes a load of money.
Yeah.
For them to offer her more was kind of, I found, but I guess they couldn't find nobody to immediately replace her because they're scared if she goes to another network without giving somebody time to replace her, she might take that audience with her. But I don't know who would take her. CNN probably can't afford her. ABC.
If everybody lets her go, there is no affording her. It's more about, do you want to put her on it? I don't know if she's going to bring an audience to anybody anymore.
Well, you never know. She might go conservative and go to Fox. Wouldn't that kill everybody, man? I mean, she is a gun-toting member of the NRA, so you never know. Lesbian or not, she might go the other way. That's the problem right now.
Fox has done dumber things.
So I found out something the other day. So, a bunch of them hosts that left CNN, about 7 of them, left because they wanted to go to conservative stations, whether it was local news or somebody else. There's a bunch of conservative stations. There's
Newsmax, and they're ridiculous.
No, but they got a couple besides that. There's like 5 of them out there that you can go to, and then there's one American News. They're pretty good.
Let's play commercials, man. It's 11:20.
They is it? No, we'll play one in a few minutes, but we do have to play 2. We got to play 2's coming up. Yeah, remember, people, this show is up for an award with the Podcast Awards, so be sure to go vote at podcastersaward.com. Get over there and vote. Michael and I would like to see awards sitting on our little things around us. So
let's get some awards, man. Woohoo!
Yeah, we want it. We want it. Yeah, we want a nice one. Yeah, we want to see the big one. Yeah, we want to see the big award. Who's my favorite newscaster? Me. What the hell are you talking about? No, indeed not. Most people watch on television are a joke. I can't even watch. You're supposed to be able to go watch like national news and turn on, whoever it may be on NBC or ABC, and they're supposed to be just reporting the news with no bias. And a couple of them try, but for some reason they just can't actually get it done without.
I like Greg Gutfeld, man. I gotta say,
somewhere along the line they got to go slur Trump. Somewhere along the line,
I like Greg Gutfeld. He's all right, man.
It's just one of those things.
I don't agree with what a lot of says, but he's all right. He's funny, So I know he was a comedian to start off with.
Yeah, I seen this one earlier. I think somebody else sent me this when the House passes first bill to restore abortion rights post-road. Yeah, that's not exactly what they're doing. No, they're just guaranteeing you can go across state lines to get an abortion. Well, the problem for them is they can pass whatever they want. The Supreme Court's going to say it's unconstitutional and throw it out. Yeah, see, Congress and that's the problem. That's like that gun law that the stupid New York woman did. That's going to get tossed. As soon as she added Facebook and Twitter into it, all the judges cringed. That's invasion of privacy.
Every sheriff in New York said they wouldn't enforce that they're not going to go after people's social media. Talk about an intrusion. It's one thing if there's red flags, but if there's no red flags, you're just some citizen, and think about all the illegal guns on the streets that they're not trying to get off the streets. Think about that. And then they'll say, you're a normal, regular old citizen. You want to arm yourself and do it the right way, but we're going to stand in your way. So what's that all about? Or if you defend yourself in the city against an attacker, they put the screws to you like that guy in the bodega. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Democrats are got to be wondering why they're not getting more steam on this Roe versus Wade thing. They're acting and they're passing these bills. And this is another thing, Democrats, you never have figured this out. Passing the bill now, 4 months before the election's not going to help you at all.
Joe, if Melania Trump called Mexicans or Latinas tacos, what do you think would have happened? What do you
Oh,
think?
Jesus. We'd never hear the end of it. We'll never. No. I mean, but what's worse than that, if you listen to Jill's speech, she actually kind of took a slant on a couple of different people at one time. And here in San Antonio, these breakfast tacos here in San Antonio, that was a slight.
She didn't even say bodega, she said bodega.
And then the Democrats keep doing this. What do they keep calling them? Latina X. And the Latinos keep saying,
Latinx.
Stop calling us that.
Latinx, they don't want to call that.
Yeah, because that's not what they want to be called. They keep telling the Democrats to stop, and the Democrats just won't. Democrats, listen to them. And when you want to,
what the shame of it is, and this is an honest statement, as always. The shame of it is that Spanish and Latins have given the world so much. Even the language, everything. Everything we have was ultimately based in the Latin world, and to sum people up, it's breakfast tacos or whatever. It's just such a shallow, crappy, racist thing, and that's them, that's her, that's him. They're the same. They're the Bidens, and that's what kind of people they are. So it's just a shame that nobody is really putting the emphasis on, Fox is, but nobody else is saying, hey, look at this racist tripe. How dare you?
Because nobody else cares. I mean, really. Oh, hey, Mark,
I care. You care.
I was in the
we
wrong
care. One. Our friends up in Canada care.
Yeah, one of my friends are in the room. I just seen her go by. Martha, what's up? Liberals are idiots. And okay, that's a bad way of saying it. All right.
No,
the party itself, because
that's an
the
honest
progressive,
thing.
no, the progressives are idiots. The
centrist
liberals are okay. And then you got the regular liberals, but the party has gotten stupid. I mean, come on, we spent 4 years on about, we want to talk about bathrooms. Here we are again trying to talk. It's like they try to get on some subject that they think the country is going to get behind, but people, I hate to tell you this, the United States isn't getting behind gay rights. They're not going to get behind. We're going to use 30 words to describe one person. It's not going to happen. You can try to do it all you want. You can try to put it on applications, this, that, or the other thing, but the majority of the country is going to ignore it.
I'm going to say it like this. You don't need gay rights. We all have rights. You need equal rights for everybody. So when you start pandering to groups, this going over here, lesbian or transsexual, the black one over there, and Latin, you go to these groups, you have individual rights. No, we all have the same rights.
Well,
you think gay people out there, like it when people call them names or get beaten on because they're homosexuals or get denied things because they're homosexuals? So it's equal rights. It's not like they need more rights.
That's what they were talking about that the other day with affirmative action. A guy was going over a list of stuff that blacks do regularly that whites couldn't do. It would be considered discrimination, including 100 black businesses were visited. Only 4 of them had white people work for them, and they only had 1 each. Only 2 had Hispanics. If that was white businesses, man, they'd be all
those white people, the most dangerous people you'll ever meet.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so. And then, you can get in college based on your skin color. Apparently, these days you can get in the White House based on your skin color or your sexual organs, which is all of this is illegal.
Didn't Biden say he wanted a black woman? He wasn't going to choose anybody else.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, he said for vice president. So this is what he did. So he said, I'll make a black woman vice president. I'll make a black woman on the Supreme Court. I'll make a black woman who did my he is. I mean, it's
racist. I mean,
but it's racist, and trying to say that those are the 3 best people without looking at anybody else is outright racist.
And Kamala Harris has no ties to Black America.
No,
her mother was from India. Her father was from Jamaica. So again, you have a Democratic Party putting somebody of color forward that has no roots to Black America, to the people, the slaves who came over and suffered Black America.
But when you live in cities like Atlanta, Detroit, New Orleans, Baltimore, Chicago, where the black population is larger than the
Black
white.
people know
It's
this.
outrageous,
They
the
know,
discrimination that goes
you know,
on.
they're not stupid. They know this. They see what's going on. They're tired of being treated like second class citizens, and they know who's treating them like that. They, you know what? Trump had a lot of a huge following in the black community because
He did. It was growing.
he said, "What do you got to lose?"
But right now, they got him pulling anywhere from 22 to 30% of the black community, 50% or more of the Hispanic community, and 50% or more of the white community. So if he was a run today, he's a landslide in. Nobody's got a shot. Only thing the Democrats can hope is they get some kind of traction on the economy and get prices down before 2024, because they're not going to do it before the this term. It's just not going to happen. So, and this is one of my Democrat friends yesterday. Oh, well, gas is under $4 a gallon. I said, you do know, you idiot, that we were paying 99 cents a gallon when Trump was in office. I said, so it's 20 cents cheaper, but it's still $3 higher. I'm like, what are you, stupid? I'm like, and then I heard one, oh, gas prices are plummeting. 20 cents is plummeting. I mean, come on. I mean, they use every trick they can to try to make people think that, oh, everything's better, but it's not. The economy sucks. The real unemployment rate somewhere around 12.5%. So, in case you didn't notice, ladies and gentlemen, there's two unemployment rates. There's what the government likes to use, and then there's the real one. So the one the government uses is people that are not on unemployment, which right now is 3.6% of the population that are actually are on unemployment. Okay. When you get off unemployment, so that's how it works. So 3.6% of America is on unemployment. So that means, what does that mean? That means that 76.4% of the 94.6% of the country is working. I'm sorry, 96.4% is working. Well, we know that's not true. Okay, so that's a lie. So, because they don't count contractors, gig workers, anybody who can't collect unemployment doesn't get counted. So that puts the real unemployment somewhere around 12.5 to 13%. Well, they don't want to talk to you about that when the what was it? The commercial rate is at 11.5%. The inflation rate is at 11.5%, and for us is almost 10%. That's insane. That means, I mean, we're praying for things that's so much more now. It's not even funny. And I said this the other day. So when Trump was president, I got gas for 99 cents a gallon. I got ground meat for $1.99 a gallon. I mean, $1.99 a pound. I was getting filet mignon for $6.69 a pound. I mean, it's just such a different. Now everything's quadrupled, but it's worse because just some stupid things. All like your pizza joints have all increased the delivery fees, but have you noticed? So like if you order wings from like Pizza Hut or Domino's, you used to get 8, now you get 6 for the same price, mind you. So they've cut it back. Ice cream candies that used to be about this big around, are half the size now, still the same price. So the way these companies are trying to beat it out is by simply making the amount of food they're selling you smaller, but it's still the same price. So you think it's
Inflation
good.
reduction, man. They
Yeah.
make the
So
packages smaller and they charge the same money or more.
yeah. So it's ridiculous what's going on. So not only are we paying more, but we're getting less for our money.
Are you sad because your Doritos got more expensive, Joe? Is that what
Oh,
happened?
no. See, it's a little different for us because we've seen a big increase in prices, but everything's local here, so it's a little bit cheaper. But
They make Doritos local?
yeah, we got a local company that makes Doritos. They make Coca
Well, I
Cola and
mean,
stuff
like
like that.
local here, you got dairy farms and stuff. It's
Yeah, they got all
farms.
of that. Yeah, we
I
got
mean,
lots of
like
dairy farms and
produce
steak.
and
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But produce they
Most of
charge. You wouldn't believe what they want for stuff, man. You know,
well,
and it's
down here, produce almost everything is grown locally, except for maybe avocados we either get from
grown locally here too, but they
yeah.
get a premium for it.
And then if you really want to, there's lots of farmers markets down here, so you can go buy it firsthand. And then there's what they call pick farms, where you can go pick it yourself, which is way cheaper. Like strawberries, there's a lot of places you go pick strawberries. So if you go buy them on
Not in New
flat,
York. They'll
yeah,
charge you. You pick blueberries, you'll pay more for those than the ones in the store. You know what? Because that's New York, man. You
yeah. Well,
gotta
if they
pay.
think they can get it, they're gonna get it. But I mean, so a lot of stuff down here you can get local, which is kind of nice, and the food's kind of nice. Um, I like whoever wrote me that. No, I like Elon Musk. I think I like him.
We're
He
trying to
is a
get them on the show.
thorn. He is a thorn in everybody's ass. That's why I like him.
We're trying to get them
Well,
on.
so he's got 10 kids. He's given each of them $10 million. So that's $100 million he's given out to his kids already. I know. Huh? Don't you want to go get pregnant by him? You 10 million real quick. I don't know how that works, but yeah. Well, so far, only one of his kids I've heard don't like him. That's one of his daughters. Yeah, she's a trans or something. Not trans, but she's
That's kids, man.
yeah, she's gay or lesbian or something.
You know what I
Trying
mean?
to-
Kids, you kids. Whatever.
But so he don't want to talk to her. She don't want to talk to him. But other than that, the rest of his kids he gets along fine with. Man, some of them seem to be brilliant too. So we'll see how that all works out. Well, look at Putin's two of Putin's daughters are brilliant. They're way up in the science industry. They do quite well for themselves. They're millionaires on their own without their daddy's help. I don't know what they're thinking about their dad in the war right now, but oh, and while we're on that note, while we're on the war, in case y'all didn't know this, so now on 3 occasions in the last 2 weeks, more than 100 Russian soldiers each time just walked across the line and surrendered because they don't want to fight. Just walked across the line and surrendered. Brought their weapons and everything, just handed them over. And that's what the Ukrainians did to him for doing that. Just to put it in perspective. That's what happened to the poor Ukrainians. They took him out, buddy. They said, "Yeah,
we give up. Please don't shoot us anymore."
But you know, I don't know. You know, the Russians won't stop. They won't let this go. They want to take all of the Ukraine.
They
want to take it all
a
back.
lot anymore. I haven't seen him on camera in a little while.
Yeah. No, he's been hiding out. They probably took a couple of.
Oh,
you did hear the other day they killed what 20 top officials, 20 Russian officials at one time, big officials. I'm like,
are they gonna have anybody left?
Not to fight any wars or not. I don't know what's going on, poor Russia.
I'm gonna have to put an ad out in the paper.
It's interesting, but
need generals.
Yeah, Carolyn, I seen you write in on UFO on the cover that night. What's up?
Let's go to Russia and be generals, man. What do you think?
I know. We do a hell of a better job than get done right now.
Oh, I don't think Ukraine would last.
so what do you mean? Who am I picking?
Up aggression, man.
Oh no, I think there's going to be a red wave. No, I think there's still going to be a red wave. I don't think Roe versus Wade is going to change the red wave. No, it might hurt him a little bit in the Senate, but I don't think it's going to hurt in the House.
In fact, I think it's going to enforce the red state people. I think it's going to enforce people who, there's a lot of Democrats that also don't believe in abortion. A lot of Catholics that, it's a conflict of their religion.
Well, in case y'all didn't know this, Joe Biden is one of those Democrats.
Supposed to be Catholic.
He was pro-life. He wasn't pro-choice. He was pro-life. And so secretly, he's happy with this. That might be why he's dragging his feet on so many things. Because he really is. He's pro-life, not pro-choice.
He wants those kids to be born so he can sniff them.
Yeah, so he can play with them. A pervert
a little snifty. Well, you saw that memoir about him having his daughter in the shower naked, and talking to her.
Oh, yeah. I heard enough about all of that stuff. Yeah,
that's the president. That's him. That's what he does. Or did. He's too old now. Now he's just a gross old man. I don't like him. I don't want to like him. There's nothing like about him. He's just a liar. He's always been a liar. He tells lies about things he's done in his life that he hasn't done, and he's been called out on it, and he still does it.
So he has been called. That's the thing. You're right. He has been called out on it.
As an American, a tax-paying American, I fear for my country with such weak leadership, and also leadership that is not there mentally or physically. He's just not there. So they need to do what's best for the country, but they won't. Not until the next election, and who knows what's going to happen. Listen, another more than 2 years of Biden, the kind of damage that can cause. I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think he's going to make it to Christmas. That's my Christmas wish.
Yeah, so they're saying some way that the Democrats can try to blunt this, and guys, that ain't going to happen. You can try.
If they roll it up in a blunt.
Well, they keep thinking that a lot of this, I don't know why it is with NBC and MSN and all them think that this Jan 6 thing is going to help them. It's not. All y'all are doing is motivating Trump's people to go out.
That's what they're doing.
That's all you're doing. You're just making more Republicans want to go out and vote.
Rock the vote.
Yeah, and then
rock the vote.
Let's see. And that's all the articles you see when I type this in. Democrats need to blunt red wave. They need to do this to blunt the red wave. And then all these other people are saying, nope, looks pretty bad for the Democrats. Looks like a runaway.
I think the Democrats are relying on it That's when they raised most of their money. When Trump was in there, they raised most of the money that they raised more money than they ever raised, and the money talks. So they'd rather not be in that kind of power position. They'd rather be the
So
one.
let's look at a couple of these articles. So red wave, monstrous red wave predicted by two of the conservative medias. CBS election results suggest red wave will sweep midterms. They're talking about the election results just from last week, people. The five predict red wave coming in December. MSNBC, despite former President Trump's tenure, could see big red wave.
You gonna
That's
play a commercial, man? I
MSNBC.
gotta use the bathroom.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll play it. I'm going, man.
Play a commercial. I thought we were supposed to play one. Here's what you told me.
Oh no, we do. We're supposed to play one at the top of the hour. I got to fiddling around with it.
It's 11:37 already.
Yes, but I'll click this one.
Time to get out and vote. All right, everybody, it's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcasts. The show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards is Chasing Prophecy in the category of Society and Culture. Take a ride down the rabbit hole with Jenny Nicasio, Sean Kelly, and Jason Iampietro, where each episode brings a roundtable approach to conversations about supernatural phenomena, hidden secret societies, underground bunkers, magical conspiracies, the paranormal, cryptic creatures, aliens, ghosts, legends, and myths from around the world. Chasing Prophecy radio program dives into topics that entice the imagination and seduce the mind, some of which are taboo. Chasing Prophecy, where they discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. Go to podcastawards.com to nominate Chasing Prophecy in the category of Society and Cultures. That's podcastawards.com. Take a moment and get out and vote. It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcast. There's a show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards, UFO Undercover, in the category of entertainment. This show brings you some of the most revealing and current research that is being done with respect to alien abductions and contact. Host Joe Montaldo has been an abduction researcher for over 35 years and is uniquely qualified to bring you live interviews with some of the most well-known researchers in ufology. So go to podcastawards.com and nominate UFO Undercover in the category of entertainment. That's podcastawards.com. So take a moment, get out and vote. All right, everybody, it is that time of year again. It's time for you to get out and nominate for your favorite podcast. The show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards is The Centralist in the category of politics and news. The Centralist is a much different news and political program which is not deemed as opinion news. Listen as Joe Montaldo brings you just the facts from trusted sources, which will allow you to make up your own minds on the various stories being reported on. So go to podcastawards.com to nominate The Centralist in the category of politics and news. And that's podcastawards.com. Take a moment, go and vote, and as Joe would say, come on guys, vote, vote, get out there, vote. What you waiting for?
All right, Emily, my voice is a little deeper than that with that vote stuff, girl. Go vote, people. I agree with what Emily says. Get out and vote while Mike's off visiting his friends. I was reading, it's interesting to see the liberal newspapers or liberal media putting these up. So a couple of weeks ago, CBS had put up a thing. Red waves have begun. More than 1 million voters across 40 states had switched to Republican. Well, since the Roe versus Wade came out, this is 6/27 when this one came out. Red wave has begun. More than 1 million voters across 43 states switched to Republicans. That's 2 million voters in less than 3 weeks switch parties. That's insane. That's insane. That's way more than enough. People, if they don't win, people all over the place are going to be questioning these elections. So, you mean election fraud? There's always some election fraud. I mean, you can't make everything bulletproof. I mean, that's why Chicago always has, anywhere from 16 to 60,000 dead people that vote. But serious election fraud is a whole different thing. As far as I know, none of that's ever really happened. Whether what Trump said, what Trump's people says doesn't really matter because they never proved it. They proved that there was some, but not enough to change an election. And that's the thing about Trump. And I've said this before. Trump said the whole year before this, they're going to cheat. Okay, Trump, then why didn't you have people in place to make sure they didn't cheat? So that's on him. So if you lost because of cheating, you lost because you didn't take care of your spot. And if you lost legit, you lost legit either way. Well, yeah, you can't go around harping on it. I mean, it's done. And then when they found some stuff that might have been enough to take it to court, he said, "Oh no, I don't want to do that because I don't want to serve for 2 years. I want to serve for 4." Yeah, he wants to run. He wants to run again. The only Republican that can challenge him currently would be DeSantis, and I don't know if he can challenge him. He's a good governor. We'll see what happens. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. You mean Louisiana governor? There was some of him hawing about if Bill Edwards was going to run for president. He is a Democrat. He's a pretty good governor, but I don't think he wants to run for president. The one that cracks me up is AOC. They want AOC to run. What they do is they want to run for the next 8 or 9 elections so people get to know her and she'll finally get elected. If she can stay in office. Yeah, she is a bit doofy. Nobody's going to vote for AOC to be president of the United States. That's a waste of time and money. The majority of the country looks at her and Omar as a joke. And then there's Omar, who's out there getting booed every time she goes out to give a speech lately. She showed up several community functions. The first time was a couple weeks ago. She got booed. And since then, she's been booed a few more times. Her challenges seem to be pretty good, too. So she may lose her seat, too. Well, the country's tired of the liberal bullshit. The country's just tired of it. You got to think about it. Why did they decide to change Roe versus Wade? Right near, so close to a midterm election. Why would you do that unless you knew the country was in the mood for it? And I think that's why they did it, because they figured it wasn't going to hurt them in the 2022 election. I don't think it is. I don't think Roe versus Wade is going to be the top subject for anybody except for a handful of crazy liberals. Everybody else is more interested in the economy, inflation, and why everything costs so much. And this is what's scary. Okay, for us, it's not that bad. I live in a deep south, but in about 2 months or 3 months, it's going to start getting cold up north. By 4 or 5 months, it's going to start getting really cold up there. And heating fuel is going to be ungodly expensive. They're talking about even small homes running $1,000 a month bill. I mean, that cannot be allowed. I mean, that's just, it's bad enough we got to pay these.
So I understand that the price has gone down dramatically per barrel. You can see it, in the futures market. But the Democrats are keeping the prices high because they don't want the price to dip until October before the elections. So they're saying, look, we got gas down, food starting to go down. They're going to need to launch that before election day. So that's going to be the end of September, early.
Yeah, well, food's not really going. I haven't seen food go down. It's still going up.
You're going to see. No, not yet. They're going to screw people until put 2 months. In 2 months, it'll happen.
But and it's not going to be enough to make a difference, because no matter what they do, they can't adjust food prices as long as diesel. Stupid, yeah, but as long as diesel is $5.50 a gallon, they're not adjusting anything. Joe, diesel's not going down. Gas is going down, but diesel's not going down. Now, pretty much of now, when you see now, almost everybody I talk to now said they're going to vote red or they're not going to vote at all. There's a lot of people who are disgusted with the Democratic Party right now. They made a lot of big promises. They pulled none of them off. Yeah, there are a lot of the little sheeples, but I don't think you're gonna find as many as there used to be. I mean, I was reading this before you came back. So 3 weeks ago, CBS posted an article: over 1 million people in 40 states switched to Republican. Just since the 627, there was another one posted. Another 1 million people have switched to the Republican Party, and across 43 states. So 43 states, that means that's blue states. That leaves only 7 states where they're not coming from. So you're getting voters from 43 states switching to the Republican Party. You're in deep shit if you're a blue country. I mean, in blue anything. And they're switching, and a lot of them are switching over what used to be considered purple states like Georgia, Colorado, places like that, Nevada, or going red. And remember, New York almost went red in the presidential election. 46% of New York voted for Trump. 46%.
A lot of people leaving New York. They're taking off. They're going to Florida, other places, out west.
So, it's
greener pastures. I don't think there are any greener pastures. I think rent is the same all over the country. If you go into the cities, it'll be more. People are hurting. People are paying most of their money for just housing. Not including
it's expensive.
These crazy prices for fuel. And you know what? I was just reading a report. We had talked about this a couple of weeks ago on how this is going to affect the economies. That people are going to stop buying roast beef and start buying bologna. People are going to start dumbing things down and just getting the cost down. And lo and behold, that's what these I read a report from these supermarket retailers who are seeing their expensive foods not being sold, sitting on the shelves, going bad. So then the food manufacturers are like, well, you have to charge more, keep charging more. But the supermarkets are like, listen, we can charge more. People won't buy it. It's going to sit there and go bad. And we'll get the, do the returns and ship it back or get rid of it, and do chargebacks or whatever they do, right? So this is going to affect spending overall for Christmas, for everything. You're going to see the economy hit nose in the dirt because people just don't have the funds, or they're trying to equal out their living. I myself has stopped buying ivory back scratchers, man. You know what I mean? And you know what? 1 or 2 a week was my habit. I'd scratch my back with them, they'd break, and I'd throw them out. You know what I'm saying? But I you know what? I live very simply, man. A little, you know what? In an apocalypse, give me pasta sauce, some Romano cheese, and chocolate, and some nice stuff to drink. I'm good, man. You know what? That's all that I need. But other people are very complicated, especially with their toilet paper needs. They're out there, Joe.
Well, I know. Well, they are out there, but
Well, we'll talk about COVID-19 for 3 seconds. How this virus has now come back. In fact, it didn't go away. It's always been there, but now it's to the point where it's getting past vaccines. You still should get vaccinated. You still need to get vaccinated, but it's getting past a lot of these vaccines. You have a better chance of surviving if you've had the vaccine. But it's a very rare few people in the U.S. now that haven't had it. I'm one of those people. So I'm a hermit, but it really comes down to what are they going to do? Because there's no money for all. Apparently, it's trillions of bucks to give other countries and Ukraine and all this other stuff, but we have no money to spend to subsidize our gas, our food prices, and the things that the glue that keeps us together in this country. You know what I mean? So they have no plan, Joe. They have no plan.
Well, I'm looking at oil prices right now. So right now it's the WTI crude is $95 a barrel. Brent crude is $98 a barrel. Mandarin crude is 101. Sweet crude, Louisiana crude is about
$25 less than what it was a couple weeks ago.
Well, it had gotten up to as high as 120, so it's actually down about $22.
Yeah, OPEC says their ideal price for oil is $72. When it was there, we were paying, we had low prices under Trump. But the Democrats attached a whole bunch of things to that. They have an agenda where they want to get rid of fossil fuels. This is part of their agenda. So yeah, part of it's the Putin war, sure. But most of it was Joe Biden, because those prices were going up well before Putin invaded anybody.
Oh yeah, well he tried to blame, but it was, when he blamed Putin, we were already at 440 nationally. So, and that's why the country didn't buy it. It was too late.
People are suffering, Joe. I hear from people all the time. They're suffering. They're like, well, what am I going to do? I'm like, I don't freaking know. You're asking me for. You're asking me.
Yeah. So I'm reading already. So they're already talking about states in the U.S. will be forcing having coal shortages. They're saying Germany's going to be having a coal shortage. Other countries over there will. Germany's topped by Russian gas on the brink of.
Trump said to Germany, "Don't sign the deal with the Russians. Get 50% of your fuel. 50%."
Well, so the company that buys from Germany buys the Russian gas is going out of business because they're not buying it anymore.
Well, all the people over there. There's no real leadership going on, and it's pretty scary what's happening there. So.
And the Russians are selling their oil below market price to the Saudis. So the Saudis are just reselling it at market price.
Why not? It's business. I would do it. Wouldn't you do it?
Well, that's why everybody got mad at Biden when he released it 5 billion barrels. A lot of it went to China for their strategic reserve. So we took it out of our strategic reserve.
That was his business.
Yeah.
That's Hunter's business. It was the company that he has ties to that apparently, was the benefit of that, partly. Whatever, man. These guys, that's what they do. They steal.
Everybody's saying it's highly unlikely that there's going to be any significant anything come out of this deal with Saudi Arabia. They don't respect Biden like they did Trump. They were scared of Trump.
That Saudi sheikh looked at him like, you just creepy old poltergeist man. You know, that's what Biden's got going on. That you know what, Carolyn, I want to sniff you. I'm gonna sniff your hair,
Oh
Carolyn.
Lord, y'all
That's
don't come get him. Don't put him
what I
away,
feel
people.
when I see Joe Biden. I see the poltergeist guy, Carolyn. No, really, nobody
Yeah.
respects
So
him. They didn't even want to talk to Biden before. They didn't take his phone call. They were like, no, we're not going to talk to you. Trump gave him
so
a nice weapons package. They had, because we're the mutual enemy, Iran.
yeah.
But Biden doesn't look at it that way. They want to coddle Iran. They want to give them all kinds of concessions. It's just, you know what?
I
It's
don't. I
another
never understood that with the liberals. What is to fascinate with them in communist countries? I mean, they love Iran. They love Venezuela. They love
because they
Cuba.
believe they're bullcrap until all of a sudden they turn around and realize it was all bullcrap. Like
Yeah.
when Putin was sitting there lying his face off about the buildup on the Ukrainian border, it's just an exercise, no problem, whatever. Oh, they believed him. They believed him. They're idiots. You think Trump would
Damn.
have believed him? He wouldn't have tried it with Trump. I'm not a Trump
Republicans.
trumpeter. It
Republicans are
sounds like I
shattering.
am,
Republicans
but
shattering records for candidate filings, for people filing to vote. They're breaking records all over the country. They broke a record in Georgia when 1 million people showed out for the primary for that one governor. And Stacey Abrams keeps saying, "Oh, I'm ahead. I'm ahead." And one guy told her, "You're not getting that many people come out and vote for you, Stacey. You can forget it. It's not going to happen."
I'm not a Trump trumpeter, man, but I'll tell you, it wouldn't have happened under him, and that's you need strong leadership, and they gotta put their little butthurt problems aside and realize what's best for the country. And I don't know if he's the best foot forward, but I think he's the only foot forward. With him, you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting. With these Democrats, you know what you're getting and what you're not getting. And I'll tell you, these millennials, they're like, they want a future for themselves. They want to own stuff. They want to own a house. They want to own things. They see the system crashing under these Democrats, and they have to make these decisions on now. Joe, that's when you start switching over. When you're young, you're a liberal, and you start getting older, you turn a conservative. If you have any kind of brain. But now we're seeing the result of the lies, the cheating, the stealing, the Democratic Party going after Trump like rabid dogs, making up anything they could possibly make up, sinking down to every low level, manufacturing the Steele dossier evidence against Trump, manufacturing evidence against a presidential candidate, and eavesdropping on him, surveilling him. I mean, things happened that this is going to go down in history books in the future. In the future, they're going to look back and be like, look what these people did. Look how corrupt they were. Look how horrible. And they're going to point that Democratic Party. So that's where I'm at.
I'm reading what all these people are saying about. They're saying that the Republicans may take 50 or 75 seats in the House.
I'm a registered Republican, but I did that for a whole different reason. In Ithaca, New York, it's a very it's all liberal. So if you're a Republican, you stand out, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm middle of the road. I vote for anybody who's good. I just don't see anybody in their Democratic Party who has any kind of integrity. Who does? At least Trump is a wild card. He's the Joker in the deck. He really is. He doesn't he doesn't dance by anybody else's drum beat but his own. So, and I like that about him. He just needs to stay away from these losers and getting down in the trenches with them, and just stay away from the rhetoric and focus on the task. You know what I mean?
So yeah, now this is what these all of these people on the Jan 6 Council have now confessed and said part of the reason they're on it is to try to get ahead of the red wave by being on television and being seen a lot.
Democrats want to win, even the people who have these individual seats in these red states who are Democrats. They still want to get back in. They want to maintain their office, but their party has given up on them, obviously, since a lot of them don't want Biden to run. So and they're voicing those concerns, but not loud enough. He says he is. So Kamala says it. He says it.
So, right? So yeah, I know, and they do. So Vegas put out their polls. Quinnipiac and all that got out their polls. They're saying exclusive Republicans vote. Polls suggest red wave even in blue states.
Yeah.
That's where they're worried, scared about. They're expecting to lose seats in California and New York.
I know this coming election day in November, you and I are going to be sitting right here with some other
Yep. Oh, and that's
people.
right, ladies and gentlemen. Mike and I and several other hosts will be sitting here going through the election results as usual the whole night until we know what's going on. It's not like the presidential election's a little bit different, but
If we're all still
uh,
alive, you know what I mean?
yes,
You
if
never know
Russia
what
hasn't
tomorrow
nuked us,
brings.
if Russia hasn't nuked us, would you vote for Donald Trump for the third time? 90% of people say yes. 105,000 people polled. See, that's actually a real poll. So
He draws a crowd, man. I watched one of his speeches the other day.
he's,
People turn out. They
it's a
want to
good
hear him.
chance he's going to be the next president, people, because Biden, maybe, what do you mean, Newsom? I don't think Newsom can beat Trump. I don't think he
No,
can.
no
Trump's
way.
got too much.
No way.
The problem
No
for
way.
any Democrat is right now, Trump has the pulpit because he can beat up the Democrats for the last 4 years because they really fucked everything up. He can, lord it over everybody about the. Oh,
He was voted out because of all the stuff they said about him that was already proved wrong.
Yeah, so
So
no, so he
he
gets to
could
tout
skate
all
right
that.
through and say, "Look, they lied to get me out, and here I
And
am
that's the
coming
other
back."
thing. He can
And
sit there and show how the Democrats deliberately lied. He may even cost people like Chuck Schumer and them their seats because he's going to show outright how they just lied and lied
do
and
you
lied
think
and
Trump
lied.
can fix things? I think he'd be
Oh,
able to.
I think Trump will have the economy turned around in less than a year, and I think he'll have us back to oil independence in too. Because all the components are still there. They were talking about this yesterday. They're still building all the big rigs because they can't stop them because the government would have to pay them for all the lost wages. But so they're still allowing them to build those. So when Trump comes in, he'll just lift all the things, let everybody go back to leasing. 2 or 3 years, we'll be oil independent again. You'll see oil down to. See, this is a problem, ladies and gentlemen. Most cars today are pretty good about, at least American cars, are pretty good emission control system. So we're not pumping this carbon in the air like they want you to think. Even our plants have pretty good systems.
You know, I paid for my catalytic converter $2,400.
Yeah,
That's what they charge you in New York, man, because they use the same standards as California.
yeah.
So it's not like plus we use unleaded gas. Gas used to be leaded, which cooled your valves. It was better for your engine, but they
Yeah.
banned it. What,
But it was just not.
1973?
It was just bad for the environment in general.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, emission controls are pretty good these days. It's not so much Americans causing a problem anymore, and the Chinese are starting to catch up with emission controls, but the Indians aren't, and a lot of South Americans aren't. So, and the
And for
Africans aren't. So,
Volkswagen, Volkswagen lied, right? I mean, they had all those
yeah,
models
they
that they
lied.
sold
They
here in
lied
the
about
U.S.
both mileage and emissions.
They lied about all that, but they make a good vehicle.
Yeah, they
You know
make
what
a
I
good
mean?
vehicle, but they lied about how good the gas mileage was, and they lied about how good the emission control was. Oh yeah,
So
they had
they,
to
they
pay
have to
big
do
money
some
for all
lip
that.
service.
Yeah.
They didn't recall those cars really, because they couldn't.
No.
There's millions of them. They've changed the motors out completely. So they just paid. They paid a fine. They
Actually,
probably
Josh.
rather take
We getting ready to get out of here in just a couple of minutes. We just hit 11 o'clock.
all the
Any
clock where I
good?
am in New
Yeah,
York City, man.
yeah. It's midnight for Michael. What's Friday night for me? I've been up since early
It's
this morning.
tomorrow. Look, I'm time traveling, Joe. I'm
So now, if I disappear, one of these, I'm working with somebody from. It's way up in the high end in the aerospace industry. He's very wealthy. And if something happens to me, I'm dealing with him, and then I'm dealing with a spiritual leader. Well, a cult leader, I guess you'd call
I
it, from
am
something else. So,
Reverend
y'all keep me
Angley.
safe, people. Watch out for me.
Send
I don't
money
want to
to
disappear.
Reverend Angley.
Send money right everything.
We
You can send money, send it to Joe.
necesito
Mike don't need that.
dinero.
Mike don't
We
need no stinking money.
necesito dinero to you
But
Latin people.
anyway, guys and girls, we got to
I
get
will
out of
not
here.
call you tacos. I love to eat tacos,
Yeah, y'all be sure y'all be sure to come check out Mike on Tuesday and Thursday while he's playing with his
How many
podcast.
tacos can you eat, Joe, one time? Come on.
One.
Oh, what?
One taco.
One
That's
taco.
it. One taco.
Nah,
You
yeah.
know, but man, you ain't never seen the tacos. How big they make them down here. Damn cheap taco.
I
Like,
don't care how
you know,
big they make.
listen. There's a place down here. You can go get a slice of pizza. So if you can eat the whole pizza in under 2 minutes, you get 10 grand. So that was the original thing. Now the record is 47 seconds. So this pizza is
How big is it?
It's 2 foot long, and I think
2
12
feet?
inches
That's it?
wide. It's a big piece of pizza, man.
24.
So whoever did it got the
24
record
inches.
down to 47 seconds. That's
You're
what the
saying the
record.
whole pizza is 24 inches wide.
It's 2 foot by 2 foot. Yeah, it's a big piece of pizza.
I can eat that.
Yeah, and well, I could probably eat it, but I'm not gonna eat it in 47 seconds.
I will go down there with Amelia Pisano. We will come down. and because we got a pizza thing going on, man. We are
Nice.
gonna
You might
have
be able
a
to eat it.
pizza contest, and whoever can finish that pizza first wins, man.
It's who asked me? It's at Fat Boys Pizzas in Old Meadow. There's two of them. There's one coming. Try it. They got good pizza. They got really good pizza, but
I'm a pizza snob, man. You know,
so
I
their
mean, I'm
their
from New York.
large pizza is 40 inches wide. It's
Hard,
massive.
hard
It's
to get a bad
$60 too.
pizza in New York. How big are their meatballs? I got a
Uh,
meatball thing going on.
I don't know. Yeah, meatball thing going on. I don't know. They
Spaghetti
make
and
really good
meatballs.
pizza though. It's a really good traditional. It's probably closer. Chicago. No, it's probably closer to a Brooklyn style than a Chicago style. Yeah, Chicago's a little different.
You know about Sicilian pizza, man.
I know about all kind of pizza, but
Well, Sicilian pizza is rectangular and it's thick. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
really good. I love Sicilian pizza. So then there's the round one we actually call Neapolitan. That's the type of pizza, but there's also Detroit pizza, the Chicago pizza. They all have their own little.
They all got their own style
Well,
pizza.
it's all BS. You know what I mean? Chicago pizza got the.
Oh no, what you mean, Mike? No, Brooklyn pizza's all floppy and shit. No, I like it. It's good pizza.
I'm not
It's just
talking about. There's no
you
Brooklyn
gotta
pizza. It's New York.
fold it, you
New
gotta
York
bend
pizza.
it in half and
Nobody
eat
ever
it.
calls it Brooklyn pizza. Only if
They actually, well, down here, they
if
actually named their pizza places after Brooklyn Pizzeria and
well,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
because it's New Orleans.
You know,
It's
so
not
that's what
Brooklyn.
they're no that in New Orleans they don't actually do. New Orleans is different. Pizza places there are very unique. They don't say a type of pizza. It'd be like Romaine's or something like that.
You
Just
know
some
what?
kind of weird name.
There's no Long Island bagel when you're on Long Island. They're called the
Yeah.
everything bagel. You know what I mean? So people name stuff. You know, Long Island.
You know, they
This
do.
there is a Long Island iced tea though, and I recommend them. Have 3 or 4.
Oh, Long Island iced teas are good, man, especially if they made right. Yeah, they are. Well,
Have
that's
3 or 4 and
you can
call Joe
cheat now.
Montaldo.
There's a real way to make a Long Island iced tea, but I found a cheat. I shouldn't tell you this, but if you use Johnny Walker Red and real iced tea, it tastes just as good as an iced tea, and it gets you just as messed up. It tastes the same. It tastes exact. It was an accident. I was loaded one night messing with some friends, and we were making Long Island iced teas, and I ran out of 2 of the ingredients. I said, "Well, I want iced tea." So I went in the refrigerator, and there was a thing of iced tea. So I put it in a cup of ice, and you got to use a Johnny Walker though, because it's the only thing that tastes right. The other liquor don't taste right because it's not mixed well. So, but it tasted really good. I was really surprised by it. But there's a traditional Long Island iced tea. They're pretty easy to make, but the fast one I like that. Well, it's like a Southern screw.
Johnny Walker Blue Label may be acceptable.
Yeah.
It's expensive
Yeah.
though. You know?
Yeah, it is a little expensive, but Southern screw
People
is
think they have to
Southern
spend
Comfort
a lot
orange juice.
to get a good taste. Knob Creek, actually, you can find. You know, it mills around 100 proof, which is pretty good. And I like the 120. It's cask strength. If you're going to taste any,
Well, that's what I was going to tell you. If you're going to make
goes down smooth. It's
if you're going to
nice.
make a
It's
Southern
$35
screw
a bottle.
with Southern Comfort and orange juice, you need to use the
Southern
101.
Comfort's just it's like Jack Daniels. It's just a base. It's a cheap base.
They,
You know what I mean?
but you got to use the 101 because it don't taste the same. It's very sweet too, so that's why you got to mix it with orange juice.
I know they because they water it down after it gets
They,
out of the cask, you know, and then that's how they get down to those.
Jack Daniels. It just depends what brand. Jack's got like 7 different brands of Jack, so you can get the stuff that's really well. Yeah, well, they got higher end.
Wild Turkey. They've got the 101. And
they got the long barrel age, short barrel age, stuff like that. I can't drink Jack; it makes me mean, so I can't drink it.
But if you want like Irish whiskey, is actually really nice, and especially you get into Scotch, and there's 5 different areas in Scotland that make Scotch.
I got to take a picture of it and send a friend of mine. And somebody sent me a bottle of whiskey yesterday, kind of expensive bottle, kind of really expensive bottle.
There's lots of Australian whiskey that's over $300 a bottle, man. It's good stuff. You know what I mean? There's that, you know what? That Barclay, whatever it's from, I think it's what's called, from Texas, and it's like black because you know where they actually put it up to let it do its business in these warehouses. You know, Texas gets incredibly hot. So in a lot of places that you'll see, whiskey have that nice tint to it, caramel. But in Texas, it's black.
I remember I was in a club and a friend of mine said, "Be sure you order a shot of Papa Van Winkle." And I'm like, "Okay." I didn't know what it was at the time. It's like 15, 20 years ago. So I ordered a shot, and a drink shot was really good whiskey. So he comes back. It was $250 a shot. I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What do you mean?" So it runs right now. It's running around $6,000 a bottle. And I'm thinking,
gotta be careful, man. In bars, you start ordering shots of whiskey, you don't know what they're going to bring you. I mean,
it's one of the things. Yeah, they get expensive. Like I said, that one was $250 a shot. I
Blue
mean,
Label costs 45 a shot. You know,
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just depends what you buy. But anyway, this one was sent to me. It's was that kind? No, actually no. They sent me the one to red. Yeah, you drink it, don't you? So they come with a red cover and a black cover. The red cover is usually about 20 years old. The black cover is usually a little older. It's a rare whiskey. It's probably 20, 25 years old, something like that. And
Balcones. That's it. It's Balcones, man.
yeah, there's a lot of good ones
Rainbow.
out there.
Oh yeah, there's tons of whiskey.
Oh well, Bob, there is a Crown Royal that's over $1,000. Yes, there most certainly is. Most people would not know it. Crowns is an expensive just whiskey for everyday people, but
Ugh.
usually it's not outrageous, and it's
Oh
a
come on,
light
it's
whiskey.
Canadian, man. You
Oh,
know
it's
what?
it's 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 Canadian piss water is what it is, which we didn't actually
Please
say
no
that on there.
Crown Royal. They
But
targeted they targeted minorities with Crown Royal. I kind of resent that. I think it's racist, man. Every commercial you see for Crown Royal is like targeting that. Like it, hey, buy it. It's high end, whatever. But it's really not.
but
It's
if
actually
if you get the Crown Royal Cask 16, it's $1,500 a bottle. So
yeah.
it's
Buy Red
Crown
Breast. Go get a nice
Crown.
Red Breast 16-year-old. You know what I
Well,
mean?
Carly, I know we're getting ready to get out of here because we're talking about liquor, but Crown is a liquor you either like or you don't. It's one of those kind that it either really, really, because a lot of people like it because it's really smooth.
It's very
Some
special.
people don't. When I'm out drinking, I don't care what it is. I'll drink bar whiskey.
Try Knob
Bar
Creek,
brand.
man. Knob Creek, people
I'm,
love
I'm
nice and
drinking that.
smooth.
It's a.
It's so sweet, man. Oh my god. It's a Japanese company, actually. Japan's making some great whiskeys, man. They bought JB Hunt, you know,
Who
and
sent me this
they
good? So somebody just sent me
they
this
make
thing for a bottle of whiskey called Good. I can't say the other word. Fu word. It's small batch bourbon whiskey. So I can't say that word. Well, I've seen Old Foster's up around 1,000, $1,500 too. I've seen Waterford can get up around four
big
thousand
bucks
dollars
doesn't
depending
get
on
you big taste.
yeah.
Believe it or not, if you want
McCullens
that
will
good
cost you
taste, you
three,
don't have
four
to spend a
thousand
lot.
dollars. Yeah, well,
35 bucks to get you a nice bottle of
yeah,
whiskey.
you get you all right bottle, but
You can go up higher. You know what? 10 years. Bourbon's supposed to be 10 years in the United States. There's a standard for bourbon.
mhm.
And but really 10 years your minimum, and maybe not more than 16 or 18 your maximum. And that really depends on the company, especially like Irish whiskey, awesome stuff. Especially if they make it in a hand hammered copper still, it has a big difference. But people can decide for themselves. And Scotland, like I said, has so many diverse. Now Scotland can use other barrels, sherry barrels, things like that, to age their whiskey to give it a different taste. So
Yep.
that's it for that.
Well, I know. I was listening to somebody. I was listening to what you were saying. Listening, writing, watching somebody else was writing about bourbon.
I'm talking
Bourbon's
about
technically not whiskey. It's bourbon.
Scotch.
Well,
Bourbon
it's
is
not,
whiskey.
well, technically, it's its own form of whiskey. It's
Believe it or
it's
not, the very few people who came over to start making bourbon were Irish, and they used Irish recipes. They were mainly reverends actually, and they came up with that. So it's a interesting history to learn. But yes, the United States has a bourbon standard. It's got to be 10 years. It's got to be the same master who made it for that 10 years, who saw it over it. And I don't know. There's a whole bunch of things that have to happen before it's called bourbon. We share the same standards for bagels.
yeah. They
But
well no guys.
Scotch,
So they call it bourbon because bourbon's because what Mike was saying, it is a different standard and it is a little different. I mean, it is whiskey, but it's a bourbon whiskey. It's not a straight whiskey, so it's a little bit different. But they all are a little bit different. All of them
let
have a
me tell
little
you about
different
in
thing.
England, in Ireland anyway. So Jameson's was the only one who survived the whiskey wars in the early 70s. Most of these places had went out of business and they were gone. So every Irish whiskey that's out there today comes from a Jameson's distillate, and they buy it so they can use it to make their whiskeys. Even though, I mean, like, you can look at Redbreast, you can look at any company and any Irish whiskey, it all Jameson's. So Jameson's is a great base. Now they're doing cold brew with
Okay.
Jameson's, and
So
that beer Guinness, Guinness Stout. Jameson's has a thing with that. I mean, it's just cool. You know what? It's cool if you like to make those flavored coffees and that type of thing. But I'm not a drinker. I just know about it.
Carly,
It.
Carly just sent me this link. We're gonna go through this real fast before we leave. So these are the 17 most expensive bourbons. The first one is Illabella Islay. Okay,
Islay is an island. It's a part. It's a Scotch.
$6.2 million a bottle
Mm.
for this whiskey. $6.2 million a bottle for this one. So the decanter is white gold encrusted with diamonds and rubies, and that's its price tag. But the whiskey is special too. The whiskey is from a noted island of Isle of Scotland, so that's where it's from. The Isle of Scotland.
The island, man.
So then number two is Macallan. Now I'm drinking Macallan on a few occasions. I've never drinking this particular brand. This one is $628,000 for this particular. It sold at auction for $628,000. It is the Macallan with a special bottle. It's actually looks like really good liquor. Number three is the Macallan 64 with this fancy decanter it's in. It's sold for what? $464,000.
So once whiskey's in the bottle, it doesn't age. It's done. You know, so if it goes into 10 years, it'll be 10 years and 100 years. You know what I mean? It doesn't affect the whiskey. You know, it's not like wine.
Well, this Delmore, this stuff looks good, Michael. This Delmore, we might have tried this. How much is this? $250,000. Well, look at this. Here's another Macallan, 600,000, 80,000. I mean, there's some really nice liquors in here. 160,000. What is this? So this, wait a minute. This is This one is Muskie 35-year-old single malt whiskey. It has just some stupid stamp on it, like a doctor's label, and it sells for $98,925. Glendish Sheed Robert Reserve 1955. It's selling for $94,000. Springbank 1919. It's selling for $78,000. I mean, this whiskey is expensive, man. I mean, I want some whiskey. I thought I was doing good with some Papa Van Winkles at $5,000, man. This is crazy. This is when you got too much money to know what to do with people when you go spend this much kind of money for whiskey. Okay, I'm just telling you. Anyway, we got to get out of here. So if y'all thirsty, go get you some whiskey. It is Friday night, so go out and have some fun. Enjoy your night out. It is midnight for the East Coast. It is 11 o'clock for here, us in Central. It is 10 o'clock. It is 9 o'clock out there for our friends on the West Coast who are just getting out and getting partying, even though y'all go to bed early. I hope y'all are all having a good evening. Until next week, have some fun. Enjoy your lives. I'll be here.
Be safe, y'all.
Yes, I'm here Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Michael is here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so be sure to come and check us both out. Enjoy the shows. Jay's with us some weeks. He's actually on Fridays with Church
He's
and Neighbors.
our fetus attorney.
And we are looking for a female co-host that knows their politics.
We tried getting one, and she I don't know what happened to her, man.
Mike scared her. Mike scared her. But anyway, we got to get guys and girls. So until next week, have some fun. Stay out of trouble. I think Michelle and I are back with the Centralist next week, so come check us out. Until then, enjoy your damn life, people. It's too short to be whining about it. Good night, everybody, and see y'all next week. Dun 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 dun. Dun.